Welcome back to OG Boxing Talk. Got my man OG Black Star in the building. What is good? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, you know we're gonna talk about that, dog. What's good, KQKC?
Hey, what's good, my brother? What's happening?
We good, man. You look spry. You look awake.
Oh, yes, sir. Hey, look,
That's
KC listens, baby. I told you.
all right, man.
What's up,
JC, what's
Drew? What's
good,
up,
man?
blood?
Harold Jones, what's good, man? John Lejeune, what's the haps, man? Let me go to my page, man, where I know I can see everybody. I'm in this stream, still getting used to this StreamYard
Yeah,
situation.
yeah. How you pull up the chat on this thing?
You just got to go to your own page.
Yeah.
My own page or yours?
Go to your page.
Oh,
Open up another tab and go to your page.
oh, okay,
And then just hit the mute on your page and you can see it. You can see it the regular way.
okay.
All right, yeah, man. So okay, we got people flowing in here a little slowly, but that's all right. People be here. We'll get it going eventually. All right, man. So let's talk about some other stuff before we get to the Lomachenko fight. Did any of y'all get to see? I think I just lost KQKC, huh?
Yeah, he messed up. He'll be back.
Okay. Did you get to see what happened in the Lara fight? I didn't get to see the Lara fight. I heard it's a second round knockout.
Washed him. He washed him fast, man. Alvarez didn't even look like he belonged in the same universe as Lara. It was ridiculous.
He looked sharp.
Yeah, he made Lara look like he made Lara look like the Hurd fight didn't even happen. Lara looked like a top five, a top three competitor last night. He looked like he was ready to make some noise, and he actually did after the fight. Man,
He called out Canelo and Spence.
yeah, he called out. He called out Spence. He called out Spence, man. You know he got to take a back seat, man. We ain't forget what happened. We ain't forget what happened, man.
What happened?
He still got Hurd problems, in my opinion.
Oh, got Hurd problems.
He got Hurd
Man.
problems.
He ain't got no Hurd problem no more. Hurd ain't got Hurd got what's going on, JC? $3.01. Much love in that super chat to the OG, man. Appreciate you. FK said that looked like a fat Canelo while June. What a terrible PBC card. Was it? I didn't get to see because seriously, my wife and I just hung out with my wife last night. Chinese can't have all my time. Tell me about the card, man, because I didn't get to see the card.
Nah, I didn't watch the card. I just went straight for the Lara fight. I had a lot of things I was doing. I just went straight to the Lara fight, and I wasn't even there that long. 2 rounds, man. It was crazy.
Oh man, so Money Pal lost. Oh man, it said Money Pal. He took his first loss last night, but we love and support the brother on his learning experience. That's what's up, man. So that was a tough fight for Money Pal. I didn't get to see. I knew that he was in with somebody who was real tough. Dang, that's unfortunate. I guess I got to go back and watch it because I forgot that he was on that card, man. But it is what it is, man. Much love to Money Pal. I gotta send MP4 vids. A note, man. Tell that man much love, man, and keep on rolling. We'll get it going. 6'7", 153 pounder.
What?
Wow. What was it? Was it a decision?
Wait a minute. What you talking about? What was
Money Pal the third's fight?
Oh, okay, they didn't televise that. I watched the PBC. Yeah, I watched the PBC fights.
Okay. Hey, how were the PBC cards?
Well, it wasn't that great. I mean, Laura, it was a really easy fight. He's nothing like Canelo, his brother. He's way, way like a D-level fighter. He was missing, swinging wild, and Laura just was tagging him with the left and hit him like 4 times straight, and the referee stopped it. And it wasn't really that exciting. So,
all right. So the BBC card was a throwaway.
Yeah, and plus the 2 other fighters, the co-main event and the regular fight, they was young and inexperienced, 12-0, 13-0, and one guy quit, and out of shape, they had to pull the trunks up because his ass crack was showing, and I mean, he just, just inexperienced guys. That's all. But like
All
I
right.
say, if I may, like I say, Al Heyman, he would give you a shot. He'll give you a chance, but it's up to you what you make of it. That's what I'm trying to tell everybody. And they didn't do very good at what they chance they got. So they probably won't be asking to come back.
Yeah. Hey, man. They put the fight cards on, man. Was it on FS1?
No, it's on regular Fox.
Oh, wow.
Right.
But Lara got rid of him. Lara did his job, huh?
Oh, yeah. He got his belt. He got the regular WBA belt.
Oh, yeah. That trash.
Right.
That trash.
It really don't mean nothing, but at 154 is one, same thing Manny had at 147.
Yeah, that thing, man.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, let's get into it, man. Let's say what's up to everybody. It's a slow morning. Juan Lejeune said they have way too many good fighters for that quality. OG Blackstar said a 6'7", 153 pounder. That's crazy. That's a big dude. I knew it was going to be a tough. I knew it was going to be a tough fight, a step up fight for him. So it must said it was majority decision. That's all right, man. He'll come back, man. Bison ain't get one loss. Just keep on grinding. Charlie Ward got hit by Martinez like 3 seconds. Oh, that shit was funny. All right, so let's get to the Lomachenko fight, man. And then we want to talk about. I do want to spend some time, man, on a great interview that was done this week. I think it came out. Did it come out on Friday? I think it came out on Friday. The interview with Floyd with Deontay Wilder and 78. But let me get Drew Titan's thoughts, man, because I know Drew Titan got a cut out earlier than everybody else does. Drew, your thoughts on the Lomachenko fight?
It was fun to watch, but just to get down to it, that guy's ready to go, man. That guy's ready to be taken. He did his best. He did his best last night, but I want people to understand that was his best. No one anticipated Luke putting hands on him like that. All right, and he gave us some problems. Never mind the knockdown. I think that was the 10th or I think it was the 11th. He knocked him down the 11th, but never mind that. Never mind that. I saw a lot of things. And I think right now he's ready to be taken, man. These young cats, Haney and Tank especially. I think Tank knocks him out in about 7 rounds, man. Because that's not the same Lomachenko we was looking at just 2 years ago. That's not the same guy. Luke was putting hands on that guy, man. Luke was putting hands on that guy. And he pulled it out. Loma's tough. I'm not taking anything from Loma. I like the guy. I know somebody that knows him personally, by the way. But
knows who personally?
That knows Loma personally. A Russian cat out here. He used to work for HBO. If you go to my Instagram, you'll see me chilling with the guy. But listen, Loma's ready to be taken. Matter of fact, I'm gonna call him today. I'm gonna ask him what's up with his boy, man. That guy's ready to be taken, man. He slipped, and you have to have a good eye for the sport to understand what you were seeing last night. It was more than just Luke being that good, because Loma 2 years ago washes Luke. He doesn't lay a hand on Loma. Luke doesn't lay a hand on Loma just about maybe 20 months ago. We're watching this guy age right before our eyes, man. And right now, I think going into 2020, I think Floyd Mayweather has seen enough to understand that Tank is ready for that work. And I think he'll make that fight in 2020, maybe around the springtime, maybe around the springtime. And I think Tank will he'll dog Loma. Right now he'll dog Loma, because the last night it said a lot. He won, but it said a lot.
Blood boxing in the building. King of this boxing historical game. What's good with you this morning, man?
Oh, brothers, I'm sorry. I gotta go.
All right, man.
Peace out, Drew, man.
Peace,
Peace
y'all.
out, Drew.
Take it easy. Hey, man, I'm doing all right on this fine morning, man. I can't understand why we don't have 500 people in the chat, because the great Lomachenko fought last night. I mean, the guy's the most popular fighter on the planet. I mean, every boxing fan should be up right now. This is similar to Floyd Mayweather fighting, or Ali, or somebody like that.
No, man.
I could give you guys what I think about this whole thing. All right. I'm going to get deep into this shit. Okay. Because I thought about it. The alphabet soup belts. First of all, let me say that the alphabet soup belts operate in funny ways. But before I get into that, let me talk about this fight. Lomachenko, he's a skill fighter. Once again, he displayed his athleticism. He displayed the in and out movement and the lateral movement. As the fight proceeded, you notice that he planted his feet and became the hunter. Though he does not have the solid head movement that like some of the greats from the past have. He doesn't. He doesn't have that head movement some of the greats from the past have. He does not have the ability to stand in front of his opponent and slip punches like Pernell Whitaker did, who, by the way, would have beat the hell out of Salido. He does not have the body attack of a Whitaker, who was at one time the undisputed lightweight champion of the world, okay? So, you know, once again, he's a talented fighter in this environment but the old boxing media and all of them, they're wanting to make him into something great, okay? Listening to the British broadcast team made me sick to my stomach. One of the commentators even went as far as to say that Loma could be the greatest fighter of all times. They did the same thing with Manny Pacquiao some years ago. Every time a non-black fighter shows up, the joke of a boxing media and others overrate these guys. It comes unconsciously. It comes from a place of desperation, okay? Desperation to demonstrate or provide an example of somebody non-black to be athletically superior. This has been going on since boxing first started. From the 1870s, I believe it was 1876 when I looked at it. I looked at it last night, to the 1930s. We had what was called the colored belts, okay? People knew, and you brought that up yesterday, Fanon, and I'm going to use that same thing for a different example, but people knew that black people were athletically superior, and they referred to us as animals. There was always a few white guys that could compete with the brothers, so what ended up happening is they got rid of the colored belts, and more of the non-black greats, the so-called greats, started to receive more losses, and those losses occurred fighting black fighters. I personally think there's a connection between what happened with Jesse Owens in 1936 being something to do with the diminishing of colored belts. I'll be willing to bet that I could find a correlation, okay? Just through my historical knowledge alone, I know it has something to do with that. America needed us when it came to displaying athletic ability. Other than that, they could not compete with these Eastern European countries. And I can assure you that those color boundaries would have been erased several years earlier if boxing was open to all the European countries ran by dictators of that time period. There was a time when America as a whole was being evaluated athletically on a global level, okay? At that time, it was okay for blacks to represent America. But as we became more dominant, it became more apparent in this country internally that we're dominant in sports. This led white people to become more accepting of foreigners representing greatness, to the point that they are now accepting and acknowledging the descendants of the same Eastern Europeans that they needed help with throughout history, okay? Now we have a fighter with 14 wins and 1 loss, and he's being said to be an all-time great. At this point, they're pulling for straws. Look, like I said before, Lomachenko is good for what's in the environment now, okay? We have fake ranking systems. We have alphabet soup belts that, change their rules accordingly to however they'll profit, okay? That's how they do things now. They have the nerve to call a fighter with 15 fights in ATG, especially considering that this guy is what era this guy's fighting in. Aram is a promoter, so I would expect nothing less from him. I wouldn't expect anything else from the boxing media either. It's also funny how the sanctioning belts are not creating any barriers when it comes to Lomachenko moving towards undisputed. The WBC decided to place another title a title on the line for a unified title holder. Okay, he has the WBO belt and all of that. That doesn't happen very often where they place a title that's vacant on the line for, and usually that title is available for guys who are ranked in their system. They won't do that at the heavyweight and all that other stuff though. But in order for Lomachenko to be considered to be all this hype, he has to beat guys like Devin Haney, Tank, and all of those guys. Okay. And until he does that, I mean, he took the loss to Salido. He's overrated. He's overhyped. And it goes back within the history of these people. Okay. It's in their internal. They cannot help it. And that's what I have to say about it. That's it.
Yes, sir. Let me go in on just on that for 1 second, man. I just sent a note to my brother, Money Pal. On the road to a Hagler type career, we will learn, grow, and dominate. Yes, sir. Still looking forward to the great things. Money Pal the fourth. But yeah, man, there's no doubt about what you said, man. Blood. I think that it is first, but before I go to KQKC, there's somebody in here who said no, it's Lomachenko did not. What he said, he's the same guy, but he just is fighting bigger guys. No, I don't think that's the case. I think that he is just getting in the last 3 fights that he's had. Now, for this guy to be being said to be this all-time great, you can look on the face of Bob Arum after that fight was over, and Bob Arum was not happy. Bob Arum his energy was low. Great fighters don't talk about moving back down in weight. Great fighters don't talk about, hey, yeah, he just went the distance with Jose Pedraza. He gets dropped by Linares, goes the distance with Jose Pedraza, and now goes the distance and has probably the toughest fight of his career out of Luke Campbell. I don't remember a fight being that tough. This is no longer Lomachenko where people can't lay a glove on him. And, he's just humiliating. And no, now what he's doing, KQ. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I was on mute.
People think you're talking when you do this.
Oh, okay.
That's why people are like, KQ's muted because you're talking like this, but that's okay.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, so no, that's not the same Lomachenko. Now, personally, Lomo's footwork is incredible. Dude, his footwork he's a very, very good fighter. And this is what my thing is. He's a very, very good fighter. Don't take that shit too far. It turns me, I can't speak for other people, but it turns me off on fighters. When I know that when I can look at a fighter and be like, man, that dude is really good. Man, that guy is really good. He's really talented. Lomachenko is very skilled. He's got different levels to his game. If he wants to move and pivot, the different looks that he was given Luke Campbell, man, I was really appreciating it. But dude, when you say things like his footwork is incredible, in the definition of incredible, fuck off, man. That's these amateurs, dude. James Brown, seriously, man. Let me ask you something. Is he going against better competition? Luka's a gold medalist. Julio Diaz was a gold medalist. Gold medal is the amateurs. Gold medal is an amateur. That is a 3-round fight with headgear on. Those are amateur fights. That's a different fucking sport. So what if Luke Campbell's a gold medalist? He's a gold medalist and lost to Jorge Linares, who Lomachenko already beat. That's a circle jerk. That's what that's called. When you have one guy, Lomachenko just beat Jorge Linares? Yes. Did Jorge Linares just beat Luke Campbell? Yes. So Lomachenko now beats Luke Campbell? Dude, if he beat somebody that was a world champion, that's different. Jose Pedraza was a world champion. He was the former 130-pound IBF champion. That is an accomplishment. Beating Mike Tyson knocked Terrell Biggs' head off. He's a gold medalist. There's gold medalist after gold medalist after gold medalist that did not pan out in the pros. And guess what? Luke Campbell is one of them. Terrence Crawford has beaten gold medalists. Julio Diaz was a gold medalist. Yuriorkis Gamboa was a gold medalist. Terrence Crawford beat those two. Come on, man. Muhammad Ali beat multiple gold medalists. Multiple gold medalists. Hall of Fame level gold medalists. Look, if you're just going to try to pick out any shit that sounds good, because that's those ESPN stats. Let me pick out some shit that I can say about the Luke Campbell that makes him look like he's better than Devin Haney. Luke Campbell is a gold medalist. He will get his shit washed by Devin Haney, who never went to the Olympics. Do you know why Devin Haney never went to the Olympics? Because Devin Haney is from the United States, and they don't allow anymore people under the age of 19 to go to the Olympics. So he went pro when he was 18 years old. He's fighting in Mexico when he's 17 years old. Same thing about this Terrence Crawford thing, man. I did a video on that yesterday. Lomachenko and Terrence Crawford have the same fucking career. Lomachenko, it's so identical that it's eerie. Lomachenko won his first gold medal, won a gold medal in 2008. He won a gold medal in 2012, right? He won his first gold. He won his first world championship in 2014. He's the same age as Terrence Crawford. He's 5 months younger than Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford didn't go to the Olympics. He turned pro in 2008. That was the first Olympics for Lomachenko. So 2008 through 2012 through 2014, Terrence Crawford had 22 professional fights, fighting grown men with no headgear for money. Anywhere he was told had to go. Lomachenko, during the same period of time, being the same age as Terrence Crawford, fought a bunch of dudes in 3-round fights with headgear on. And he won an Olympic gold medal. They both had their first world championship fight at the same day. People like Tim Bradley saying, oh, Lomachenko did it so much faster. No, he didn't. He did it one fight slower. He did it slower than Terrence Crawford did, because Terrence Crawford and Lomachenko had their first championship fight on the same day. They're the same age. They had their first professional fight on the same day, March 1st of 2014. Lomachenko fought Orlando Salido. Terrence Crawford fought Ricky Burns. They both fought overseas, right? Lomachenko came to the United States. Terrence Crawford went to Glasgow. The difference was Terrence Crawford won his fight. Those are two guys the same age that got the same fight on the same day. Then Terrence Crawford, from the time they got their first professional fight, Terrence Crawford has done the same fucking thing Lomachenko's done. Every fight that he's fought has been for a championship fight. 14 straight fights. The only difference is that Terrence Crawford already did what they're trying to pub up Lomachenko for doing. Maybe. Which is unified. He unified at 140 pounds. Tim Bradley said crap like, if he gets past Campbell, and if he beats another 2 fights, then he would be the first person to unify 135 pounds since Pernell Whitaker. Guess what? Terrence Crawford already did that at 140 pounds. When has there been a 140-pound unified champion? Do you know of one? Manny Pacquiao didn't unify it. Floyd Mayweather didn't unify it. Oscar De La Hoya didn't unify it. Nobody has unified 140 pounds. Nobody has. The only people to have unified a belt since the year 2000, since 2000 and what? 2005 or 6 was Bernard Hopkins, Jermaine Taylor, and Alexander Usyk and Terrence Crawford. So Terrence Crawford already did what they're trying to get his dude credit for doing. He already did it. And he did it in the same amount of time. The only difference was Lomachenko got to have all those fights for 3 rounds with headgear on, and Terrence Crawford had to do it the hard way with grown-ass men with no fucking headgear fighting 6, 8, 10 rounders. Dude, they're the same age. There is no difference in how long it took them to do it. They both started. Matter of fact, Terrence Crawford hasn't even been fighting as long as Lomachenko. Lomachenko started fighting boxing when he was 5 years old. Terrence Crawford started when he was 9, and he took a 3-year break and came back when he was 13. Terrence Crawford's been a full-time fighter since the age of 13. Lomachenko got 10 fucking years more experience than him. If we're going to look at the picture, look at the whole fucking picture. And ain't nobody ever can accuse me of being somebody that was just jocking Terrence Crawford. But dude, Lomachenko's been a professional fighter since he was 5, at least since he was 12 years old. Because he's from the Ukraine, and the Ukraine has a boxing federation, and the boxing federation paid his rent, paid his food, picked his opponent, paid for his training, paid his daddy to train him. And then he had 6 fights, professional fights, that they don't even count in the pros, because he fought the World Series of Boxing for money. With no headgear, under professional rules. And they act like that didn't happen. My thing is, dude, he's a great fighter, no doubt about it. He's a very, very good fighter. But let's not fucking manipulate the narrative to act like he's doing some shit that somebody ain't done. Because he's right there with somebody that's career is damn near a virtual twin of his. But people are acting like it's so fucking different. I've never heard anybody ever mention that they both fought for their world title, their first world title, on the same day. That they're the same age, that they fought for their first title on the same day. The difference being Lomachenko lost, Terrence Crawford won. But you're trying to give this dude credit for a bunch of amateur fights. He's a great fighter, but you're giving him credit for a bunch of amateur fights over this guy had to take 22 professional ones. Let's get the fuck out of here, dude. That's the problem, dude.
You see, man. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, man.
You see, man, there's a big difference between Pernell Whitaker's reign and Lomachenko's road to undisputed in the lightweight division. Now we have a additional belt too, the WBO, and it's amazing how these sanctioning bodies will work together to get Lomachenko that status as an undisputed. Okay, like I said before, this whole conversation is almost absurd considering all the fighters that we have from the past. To compare a fighter who only has 14 victories and 1 loss to greats from the past. Like I said, when I was a child, okay, and several people in this room will be able to relate to what I'm saying right now. But when I was a kid, one time sometimes we would go overseas and I would be on the military base. And there was times where I was like one of the only black kids in my class. I was faster than everybody. I was athletically superior. So what they used to do is they used to, when we had our races and stuff like that, they would give all the white kids a head start from me. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't make it fair and shit like that. They've always done that. That's why they froze out all of those fighters from, like you mentioned, from the colored championships, when they had the colored championships going from 1876 to the 1930s, okay? It's as simple as that, man. You know, they've always wanted to have a white face to represent boxing. Always. That's how that whole thing, the Great White Hope, came up and all of that stuff. They've always wanted to have a white face. They know that we're athletically superior. That's why they froze out all of those fighters for what, a 50-year period. They froze 50 to 60 years. They froze out several black fighters, okay, from even fighting, from even getting a chance to prove that they're the best, okay? So we're used to this kind of stuff. When it was convenient for them, they used Lomachenko's face because they don't have a fighter here. When Pernell Whitaker was up and coming, there was some white fighters from America that were lightweights. They had Greg Haugen and they had Vinny Pazienza, okay, who were both lightweights who both had belts at one time, all right? They don't have any of those guys no more, even though they like to say that boxing has advanced in this country and the fighters today are better and stuff. We're all the fighters from America. We're all the white fighters from America to represent boxing. They've opened they've opened it up to Eastern Europeans now. The same guys that they needed us to help. They needed help with these guys, such as 1936, when the colored barriers kind of started to end because they needed our help to compete with guys with Lomachenko's ancestors, okay? So now that we've become so dominant, now they want to open it up to them and make them appear great. I mean, come on, man. The guy has 14 fights and he has a loss, okay? There's no way we should even be having this conversation. If he becomes undisputed, that's good. Is he going to reign as an undisputed? That's yet to be determined. But you have to think, there's only 5 pounds between 135 and 140. There's great fights for him at 140 if he's so great. He could fight Regis Prograis and all of them guys. I don't think he'll be able to get through Haney, Tank, Prograis. All of those guys are within his weight class. And you got to remember that at one time, some of these other weight classes didn't even exist. And not only that, there's only 5 pounds between 135 and 140. Between light heavyweight and cruiserweight, there's like 25 pounds or some shit like that. So these little guys, they're spoiled, okay, as it is. There's all kind of problems going on within the alphabet soup belts, okay? Like I kept saying, they've always wanted a white face to represent boxing. Always, always. That's why they built up guys like Tommy Morrison and them, but they just don't have the talent over here in America, okay? I told you before that America has not had a white champion up until we just had the kid recently. I can't think of his name, but you know, the kid at 168. But up until then, shit, who did we have before then? Kelly Pavlik. It had been a long time before we had a white guy from out of America. So it's just
Caleb Plant.
That's his name, Caleb Plant. Right. But all of these guys, like these commentators like Steve Kim, Dougie Fisher, and all of these guys, they want to make it appear as though white. They like to play with this race thing all the time and want to make everything all joyful and happy and make it appear like it's even by overhyping these non-black fighters. And it's getting to the point now to where it's just ridiculous, man. I was looking up something on colored belts. Let me tell you how funny this is. If you guys go and you type in colored champions from the past, guess what comes up? PBC. PBC came up. That's the first thing that came up in my fucking search engine. So they're like connecting PBC to colored champions and all kind of stuff, man. It's crazy out there. This shouldn't even be a discussion. The guy has 14 fucking fights, okay? He's not even in the top 100 at this time. There's guys out there who had hundreds and hundreds of fights, okay? You have to do something extra significant in this day and age. You even have people from outside of boxing, like this Joey Rogan guy and all these stupid clowns going around talking. They don't even watch boxing, don't know nothing about hardly anything other than Mike Tyson. That's all they know about. And they up here calling this man an ATG. Oh, he's the greatest to ever do it. And then you ask him, hey, Joey Rogan, who's Sam Langford? Oh, I heard of him. Isn't that a guy who fought in the he'll even get the decade wrong, in the 1960s? Or he won't know. He won't know who the guy is. He won't know who the great fighter from the turn of the century was. That's all I got to say. It's an absurd conversation. It's ridiculous. It's far-fetched to even have this conversation.
Let me go to let me get to these super chats real quick, man. JC in the building, much love. Bo wants to salute OGs and the mighty LDBC. Yes, sir. Trill Boxing Talk. Shout out my man, number one Lomachenko fan, and ain't nothing wrong with that. Bo wants said Loma's good, but I noticed he gets hit a little more. Wondering if he can take those same shots from Tank that he took from Luke, different angles. Ron Finkley, new media is the truth. Thank you, sir. And I think that's it. I think I might have missed something. No, that's it, man. I hope I didn't miss anything before that. Go ahead and cook on that on that KQKC.
Yeah, you know
I'll
what?
get a cup of coffee. I'll be right back.
Okay, okay, all right. Yeah, blood, right? Blood is correct. You know, they always want to put a face on white fighters, on white fighters as a boxer. You know, Lomachenko, he's a great fighter. Don't get me wrong. And when you looked at him yesterday, and like you said with Bob Arum, you can see how he is. You know, you can see that he's diminishing. And what it is 400 amateur fights and maybe just a little bit tab of a professional fight over there in Argentina, wherever you're from. And you come over here, you know, first of all, you got a head start already. Because 400 amateur fights, you know a little bit of something, you know, and went to the Olympics, you know, a little bit of something. Crawford didn't do that. Crawford did it the hard way. You know, he went right away into a championship belt. No time at all. You know, so what he's doing is not that great. Now, people think that is, you know, like Bob Arum, Pamper Bob. He might think it is, but it's not. You know, he's doing what fighters have been doing from time to time for years. Now, these young, hungry lions today, like Deontay Davis, he's ready for the taking. You know, and even though he wins his fights, it look like he loses the way he look. You know, I mean, boxing is a wear and tear on your body. You know, especially after all those fights. I mean, 400 and plus the ones over here. You know, that's a lot of wear and tear. You know, and he's a short dude, and what he's doing is not that special. See, all he's doing is moving his hands and his feet at the same time. Now, Pedraza, I say, gave the blueprint. You know, you can't step around something that's not there. All you have to do is move back, and he can't step around you. He gonna end up right where he was at. That's all. And and he's not a powerful puncher. You know. Now, Bob Arum, of course, he got in the ring last night. Oh well, he's in the like of Muhammad Ali and all the greats. And this. No, he is not. You know, no, he's not. Yeah, he got knocked down by Linares. Yeah, but have he really faced adversity? You know, see, that's why I look at. I don't look at a person's record. I look about who they fought, how did they fight. You know, that's the point. You know, and now, how long can he go? Not very long. If you look at it, not very long. Because let's say featherweight, super featherweight, you know, he could fight within that round there. And look who all we got right there. You know, and Tank is strong. You know, anytime you break 3 sparring partner noses in a row, you know, you got some type of power. And of course, he knows how to cut off the ring. And then Lomachenko is dead meat. Then, you know, he can't take no body shot from Tank. That's what it is. You know, it is what it is. You know, so, but yeah, he's overhyped. See, that reminds me a long time ago. See, I still had them flashbacks of HBO pushing people like Lomachenko, Kovalev, Triple G. That really irks me. You know, they push that narrative so much that people start buying into it. You know, when you win a fight, which is you probably superior than that fighter. You know, people think, oh, he really did this, he really did that. No, he did not. You know, no, he's not. You know, and let him get in there with an equally a fighter. Put him in there with Gary Russell Jr. I guarantee you, Gary Russell Jr. just as fast as he is, if not even faster. But he won't get in there with no one like that. Just like that Bob Arum. He ain't gonna put Crawford in there with somebody like Kell Brooks to make him look bad. You know, then his stock goes down then, right? Yeah. So, you know, the best should be fighting the best anyway. So if he's that great, if he's that good, go ahead. Put him in there with somebody at his level, like a Leo Santa Cruz or Javante Davis, or even Gary Russell Jr.
You talking about Lomachenko?
Huh?
You my Lomachenko?
Yeah.
You know Lomachenko already beat Gary Russell, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
Okay.
Yeah. But see, Gary Russell Jr. is on every time he fight, he always talking about he want to rematch that fight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, every time. I don't know what it is. He was talking about he gonna follow him up weight classes, which I doubt. But anyway, he really, really wants that fight. I don't know. He think he got cheated some type of way. But yeah, I know. Yeah, he beat Gary Russell, and he's really, really want to fight that dude again. But I don't think he's that great. He's a good fighter, yes. But all that making big, hoop hop about, oh, he took dance lessons and that's why his feet moves the way he moves. His mother made him take dance. No, he did. I mean, maybe he did, but he's not doing nothing different. He's not. He's just moving his hands and his feet at the same time. Then he steps around. And half of the time, it's illegal the way he steps around. You can't hit nobody in the back of the head. So, but that's all I got.
All right, let me get to these super chats, and I want to, while I'm trying to pull these up, because I definitely, man, I know my man. Whose tube is this? Mine is in the building.
Right.
Look, man, I want to ask y'all, because this is this moron that came to the chat earlier. I've been waiting to respond to you, dude. First of all, it is not black people's fault that there is a disparate treatment between black fighters and other fighters. That's a historical fact. And it is not, there's nothing wrong with pointing the examples of that out. And to constantly be let me tell you what you're doing when you say that about me. When you say butthurt racist Kanan. Well, first of all, I never brought up race. Let you know. I never brought it up because I don't think it's necessary to bring it up. That part of it is obvious, and it's obvious to you, and that is exhibited by the fact that you brought race up. I always let you guys fall into that stupid fucking trap. I can say that Lomachenko was overrated. He should not be rated higher than Terrence Crawford. There's nothing that he's done that Terrence Crawford ain't already done. And you will bring up the subject of race. I never have to bring it up. You will, because it's on your mind, which is further evidence that that's the reason. And you know it's the reason because you, as a reflex, defend where the punch is coming from, right? You know, I just said something and you were like, oh, it has to be race. That's why I said, why would you think it's race? Because you know it's race. You know it is. You know that that's the business of it. You know that that's the case. But I never said it. I just always wait for you to say it so you can verify it. Because otherwise you would have to ask this question. Why do you think that is, Fanon? Why do you think that it's Lomachenko and it's not Terrence Crawford? You can't say that it's because of the promoter. You can't say it's because they got the same promoter. Why was it Oscar De La Hoya and not Floyd Mayweather Jr.? Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Oscar De La Hoya were fighting for Bob Arum at the same time. You didn't see any billboards and any big great hoopla surrounding Floyd Mayweather. It was all around Oscar De La Hoya. But when the facts hit the tables as their career went on, who wound up being the better fighter? The same guy who was a better fighter the whole time, but back in if you would have asked at the time that Floyd Mayweather Jr. was fighting Jose Luis Castillo, and I don't know who he was fighting. Maybe was that on the undercard of like this De La Hoya, Shane Mosley, whatever it was during that period of time, you would have been laughed out of the room if you would have said that Floyd Mayweather Jr. was the better fighter. Why was that? Anybody with two eyes could have saw who the better fighter was. We were saying that who the better fighter was the whole time. And I'm saying who the better fighter is between Lomachenko and Terrence Crawford right now. It's Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford washes everybody. He doesn't have fights with Luke Campbell that go the distance when he gets hurt up against. That shit didn't happen to Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford walked through everybody at 140 35 pounds. He walked through everybody at 140 pounds. He's walked through everybody he's fought at 147 pounds. He doesn't have a loss on his record. I'm pointing out the facts. I'm pointing out the fact that everything related to professional boxing that Lomachenko has done, Terrence Crawford has already done. And there's no objective reason for saying that Lomachenko is an all-time great, but you never hear that about Terrence Crawford. When have you heard Lomachenko? When have you ever heard Tim Bradley or Andre Ward or Bob Arum or any of these guys saying that, man, I think Terrence Crawford is a man, he might be one of the top 5 best fighters of all time. How do you explain the difference in the perception of Terrence Crawford and Lomachenko when they both done virtually the same thing? But one guy is an all-time great and the other one might be, in the same realm as Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Leonard. He kind of reminds me of Sugar Ray Leonard. Come on, man. And I say the facts. You give me the explanation because you're not that smart. You don't actually listen. You knee-jerk. Tell me the answer. When you call me that, you just told me the reason. You're like, oh, you're focusing on race. Oh, am I? You told on yourself. You know you fucked up, right? You know you fucked up. Kurt Anderson in the building.
Hey, Fanad, let me say something real fast.
Hold on, man. Hold on, KQKC.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. I'll let you go right back to it. Let me get these super chats though.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Loma is good, but I noticed. Okay, I did that, man. Much love, Bo One. Ron Fingley said new meat is the truth. Who tube is this mindset? The Don. Happy smash the like button Sunday, man. Shout out to the Don, KQKC, Blood, and the LDBC, and I will throw in Kurt Anderson from Roll Tide Country Bomb Squad, man down. T-Rex the GOAT. Man, dog, you support the channel so much, I might change my mind on them. And you whoop. Much love in that super chat. And I'll get right back to you, KQKC, after I let Curtis cook for a second.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Curtis, what's your thoughts on the matter, man?
Oh, man, they was killing me yesterday, the commentators, man. Who was that? Mark Kriegel. I want to say what's up to Blood and KQKC and what's up, chat, man. Listen, Lomachenko is a good fighter. I've been following him ever since, the beginning of his career, the hoopla. He's not overrated, but way overhyped. They compare him to the greats, Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard and Hagler. They did it yesterday. Bob Arum did it again. He's a good fighter, but he has a loss. He's 14-1, and he's not going to get out those pool of sharks with Haney and he might beat Teofimo. He needs more seasoning. And Tank. That I picked Loma to beat Tank, but I'm starting to change my mind because that gap is rapidly closing. Luke Campbell was stiff. He didn't have the athletic ability. It's going to be a fighter who has a rhythmic and perpetual motion that's going to beat him. And Tank has that abundance. And I noticed one thing about Lomachenko, he doesn't react well to body shots. Campbell just didn't have the level of talent or skill set to bother Lomachenko. He's very aggressive, I noticed. Now he's calling out Tank. He didn't do it yesterday for some reason, but he's calling out Tank because he know that the gap is closing. The more Tank fights, the closer the gap gets because he's becoming more seasoned. So I would love for Tank to fight in a perfect world, Farmer and then Santa Cruz, and then go for Lomachenko. Lomachenko, just like Usyk, they come forward and they like to fight in an angle. If you put them on a back foot and press close, you can do major damage. They don't know how to fight backing up. That's the Eastern European. It's a style. They more like system fighters, and it's in their blood to be aggressive and come forward. You've seen what Bello did to Usyk before he got tired. They say he was better than Holyfield as a cruiserweight. They try to say Triple G was better than Marvin Hagler And now they saying Lomachenko is up there with the greats, and then they say he was better than Mayweather at 130. Mayweather knocks Lomachenko into next week at 130. It would not go to a decision. Mayweather would wash him. I know a lot of fighters would, 126 Salvador Sanchez, but it's too much hype with Lomachenko, man. And Andre Ward knows this. He doesn't say too much, so he knows, but it's Bradley. And I can't stand Mark Kriegel, man. So Loma is not the best fighter in the world. He's a damn good fighter. I got him at number 2. I got Crawford 1, Lomachenko 2, Canelo 3, Spence 4, and Usyk 5. Those are my top 5. But they have an agenda. And before I close out, boxing is about race, country, and pride. Going back to the days of Jim Jeffries, Tommy Morrison, Jerry Cooney. And people too young remember Jerry Cooney, Larry Holmes, and Jerry Cooney was a nice guy. But, man, it was racial tension. It was a heat wave in 1982 when they fought. If Cooney if he would have won that fight, he would have had a national holiday, man.
I remember that. Hey, man, we got an extra superstar in the building. Blue Blood Sports TV in the building. He's back on his live streams. They set him free. So y'all make sure y'all check out my man Blue Blood Sports TV. I'm sure y'all already know that he's back on his live streams, giving that great content as usual. Thank you for showing up. KQKC, you wanted to say something in between?
Oh yeah. I was trying to say that when you were mentioning about Floyd Mayweather and Bob Arum, they didn't look, they didn't, eye to eye, they didn't agree. And what make it so bad, let me show you the difference. Let me tell you the difference is that, Floyd wanted a billboard of himself, promoting the fight that he was about to have. And Oscar De La Hoya also wanted the same thing. But they gave it to Oscar De La Hoya, but not to Floyd. They put it up there for Oscar. But Bob Arum told Floyd he don't have enough money to do all that, and he don't think it's necessary. But he turned around and did it for Oscar De La Hoya, but Oscar De La Hoya was the money maker at that time. So that made Floyd wanted to fight him even more. Now some people say that was his breakout fight, this and that, but I think Diego Corrales was. But, I could be wrong, but that's all I wanted to say, that you can see the difference of favoritism and everything else that goes along with how they treat, black fighters with talent versus white fighters with talent. And yes, Kurt, you're right. Floyd Mayweather, let's say you go back in time and put him in that same position as Lomachenko. Let's just say, we'll ferry and flip our hands like that. Floyd would eat him up, because Floyd would have figured him out, because it's all about, that's what's so sweet about boxing. You can figure out the unknown, what you don't know about that person, what he's bringing to the table, and you can what you call adjust to what he's doing. That's what it's all about, and if you good enough, and in fact, like Luke Campbell, he did a great job last night, but he didn't have that killer instinct. He didn't have that determination that was necessary to go forward and go ahead and get this guy, so he kind of like settled, and he didn't have to. That's all I wanted to say.
So. Yes, sir. Hey, man, I want to make a point I'm gonna make 2 points, and I'm gonna move it over to Blood for something. Man, first of all, I don't want to overlook this. All right, now this is just for you people that think everything's about race, and I'm making everything about race because your butt hurt because you got fucked up internal feelings, right? So if I make you feel guilty, that's on you. But let me also point out to something that I've noticed from Bob Arum specifically, and I think it's related to the finances of to the economics of boxing matches. Notice that they switched from Mexican fighters. What's going on, Caesar? Switched from promoting Mexican fighters to promoting Eastern European fighters. And that came right on the heels of Mexican fighters starting to demand a lot of money. So on one side, you have like the PBC. And I'm telling you, man, you guys waiting around for the PBC to fail. Hey, man, shit. Man, I sat down somewhere. I was sat next to to somebody that is very, very close to the PBC. Very close to the PBC. And two people, one actually worked for Fox, and the other one, what's going on, Ashy Knuckles? And the other one, both of these people have direct connections to Al Heyman. And we sat and talked for maybe 15, 20 minutes. And I was like, yeah, y'all are never going to beat this dude. I'm not going to say how he goes about it, but I got an idea. Now I know. No, you're not. You can forget about it. Because he is taking care of those fighters, man. And Bud, if you don't go to that dude, you're out your fucking mind. If Bud don't, anybody that knows what that guy's about and doesn't sign with him and chooses an Eddie Hearn or chooses a Bob Arum you're nuts. You're nuts. I mean, I'm telling you flat out, you're nuts if you don't. The explanation that I got from them about why it is that they say you got fighters naming their kids after him, you're nuts if you don't sign for him. You nuts. If you can sign with somebody where you don't necessarily care about how much money you're making in a fight because of what he teaches you, oh my God, man. And and here's the thing. It's not anything to do with being underhanded. It has everything to do with sharing of knowledge and the teaching of young men about how to take care of themselves in their life. Man, that is some fatherless shit. And to get it from somebody with that type of experience and that type of education is you can't touch it. You can't touch it. So on one side, I'm thinking, hey man, Lomachenko, okay, you can have all of this media publicity that you're getting. These guys over here that aren't getting it ain't going to be having to train anybody to make a living when you can have all of the icing and they have the cake. To a certain amount, this conversation is this certain amount of this shit is we want the black fighters to get the icing that they deserve instead of always being the cake. Because that's what it is right now. When you look at be truthful about it. Look at who the best fighters are. Look who the best fighters are in boxing. Get rid of the pound for pound nonsense. That's completely hypothetical. And you go look at the money to weight divisions and you see where these guys are. And when you don't, and my bet is where you don't recognize their names, that's a result of these ranking systems that I'm going to have Blood talk about next. And the optical illusions these guys create about who the best fighters are. And a great conversation that Blood had yesterday on his live stream on Blood Boxing Live. Please, somebody put a link to Blood Boxing Live's, in the comment section so you know where you can catch this dude's solo live streams, which are just on another level. But these ranking systems where you have, people pay for play on these ranking systems where you think just because a guy is a top 5 guy that he can actually fight, but you start judging fighters by where they are in these ranking systems, and you screw up and get Andy Ruiz beating up Anthony Joshua because he was more than likely ranked below where Otto Wallen was. Anyway, give me your thoughts on those ranking systems, Blood. Let me pass that to you. Blood,
I had to come off.
On the slide, huh?
I had to come off of mute. I'm sorry, man.
No worries.
Okay, I could talk about the ranking systems. Basically, this is the problem, okay? Are you going to talk about Wilder later or something?
We can move on to Wilder next if you want. Well, we're just trying to flow a little bit.
I just kind of wanted to talk about some of the things that Wilder talked about leading.
Let me rephrase it then. Let me rephrase this though. Then let me rephrase the question. Okay, we're gonna move off of Vasily Lomachenko. By the way, congratulations, Vasily Lomachenko. Excellent fight. That was very, very entertaining. I want to make one more point on that before we leave. God, dog, that little mini-me fight. Did y'all see that little mini-me fight? The little teeny-weeny dudes that fought 2 fights before. Charlie something from the UK. I think they were like straw weights. Dog, that was the funniest fight I've seen in my life, dog. Oh my God, man. That little dude beat that dude. He beat that boy's ass so bad he forgot he was in a boxing ring. It hit him in the liver when he was down, dog, and they called it a no contest. But boy, that was an ass whooping, boy. That was funny because neither one of them were tall enough. Like they were fighting, and you could see the top rope was over their head. That's how little they were. Anyway, if y'all didn't see that fight, man, and they got to go back and watch that. That fight was hilarious, dude. That little Mexican dude beat the piss out of him. Anyway, go ahead, Blood. Let's talk about your thoughts on Deontay Wilder's interview with 78 Sports TV that people definitely need to check out.
Yeah, definitely, man, because this leads us into the alphabet soup belts, man. The discussion came up on the phenomenal interview that was conducted by 78 Sports TV, where he interviewed Deontay Wilder, which I felt it was a groundbreaking interview because Wilder is the first fighter to actually address some of the problems that we're having in the sanctioning bodies. He actually has the courage to do this, and he saved it for our brother 78 Sports TV due to that connection that they have. And I always knew that once you get a guy in there who could connect to the fighters better, we would get more out of the fighters because we're all from the streets pretty much, man. Whether you're from the big city or you're from the dirt road or you're from the backwoods, we all from the streets, okay? People understand what that whole thing is about. Like I said on my live stream, you guys got to go check my live streams out. But a similar thing.
Hey, man, put it in the comments, man. Put it in.
I already put it in there for them. It's just called Blood Boxing Live, okay? If you type it in, I'll come up. But a similar thing happened in the 1970s with Don King, where Don King, I mean, I'm sure some of you guys have seen the movies and I've read a little bit up on it too. He had a better connection to the fighters than Bob Arum and was able to come in and steal some of Bob Arum's fighters, including Ali. But Deontay Wilder is a smart guy, okay? He has demonstrated intelligence on a high level several times. The people that can't see it are the ones whose brains are not functioning correctly. England is filled with a bunch of living room intellects, okay? Guys, intellects who are intellects from their dusty ass apartments over in England. Ain't never been nowhere. People that may have read a book or two, but ain't never even strayed too far away from where they grew up. Deontay Wilder is gaining knowledge on a global level. He's also continuing to gain popularity. He's walked amongst people in a fashion only suitable for that of a people's champion. Kurt Anderson knows what I mean when I say people's champion, okay? He spoke on dope heads like Dillian White that continues to take advantage of the flawed advanced testing protocol by placing other fighters' lives at risk. He spoke on the term that was brought to the table by Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua brought this term to the table. Yes, he spoke on freezing out. He said that he could not relate to the term, but since AJ brought this term to the table, Wilder has decided to use his own words against him, okay? He spoke on the imposing of mandatories, okay, which are generated from a fake ranking system, okay? Like I've said, I've been saying it for years, okay? I've been telling people about the fucking fake ranking system for quite a while, to the point to where I even took time out of my fucking day to actually dissect some of these divisions. And the people who were smart listened to what I had to say, okay? If you know about me, you heard what I had to say, all right? Any fight fans that place any emphasis on a ranking system needs to update and improve their boxing intellect, in my opinion, okay? because I can't even have a conversation with you if you don't understand the difference between a ranking system from 2019 and 1975. I can't. You're not ready to have a conversation with Blood Boxing, Fanon, KQKC, and the great Kurt Anderson. Okay. Most importantly, he spoke on the irrelevance of sanctioning bodies. He is the first fighter to go public and bring light to the irrelevance of the alphabet soup belts. Like I stressed time and time again, these sanctioning bodies are very corrupt. Their ranking positions are bought, and that's why we don't know who's who in the sport. That's why AJ was knocked out by what seemed to be an easy touch. Guys like Tom Swartz was ranked ahead of Andy Ruiz, okay? At one time, all of these Euro bums was ranked ahead of Andy Ruiz. We don't know who's who because they're buying rankings and all of that stuff. That's why those belts, they're just totally irrelevant. You can't have a relevant belt that comes from a fake ranking system. These sanctioning body heads have identified a profit in Lomachenko, so they are willing to work together on that one. If AJ wins back those belts, why should Wilder chase him? AJ's already been exposed. Not only that, but why should Wilder dance to the tune of these sanctioning body heads with their worthless belts? Why should he dance to the tune of a promoter that displays a slave owner's mentality? They spoke on generational wealth. Why should fighters continue to line the pockets of these egotistical company heads by placing their lives on the line? Wilder thinks like a boss, okay? These are the type of people, look, that bring change. When you think like that, we could get a change from that. As far as I'm concerned, if AJ wins back the belts, a fight needs to occur, all right? We don't need to hear about all the details, all right? It don't need to be public. It's time for AJ to step away from Eddie Hearn and start acting and behaving like a boss. If he can't do that, then he's useless. All right, he's useless in this boxing environment. AJ should be able to communicate with Wilder directly. Me personally, I'm glad that Wilder has noticed that the irrelevance of these sanctioning bodies, because in my opinion, and I'm going to say it again, I'm going to continue to say it, I'm going to say it every OG boxing talk when it comes up. The PBC, which they're now saying is a black-owned company, they're relating that to black boxers and things like that. But the PBC needs to create a belt, okay? They need to create one belt and a valid ranking system, okay? Because all those belts that are floating around now, the super title and the silver and all of that shit, those are not the original lines anyway. The original creators of those belts, of the people who sat at them tables, are dead and gone. They're not even related to these guys now. They're making up belts to profit themselves, to take care of their children and the fighters' children. There's several stories about fighters' children. Kurt Anderson could tell you about it. I think Aaron Pryor's son was having problems. All kind of Pernell Whitaker's son was having problems. Where's all the money gone? Their sons are fucking eating, okay? Their sons and daughters are eating. In fact, they're setting them up to become slave owners like they are, all right? So you guys got to understand the importance of that interview. If you don't, then you're just a fucking hater, all right? And if you're not supporting Deontay Wilder, a guy who wants to fight the best, a guy who already said, don't worry about my money, don't worry about none of that stuff, if you're not supporting this guy who wants to be the best, then you're a fucking hater and you're not a true boxing fan. We have fans of promoters, Eddie Hearn and stuff going around now, which is fucking ridiculous. I don't follow none of these chumps. Let me tell you right now, don't follow none of them. Only use those boxing websites, Fight Hype and all of them to get your information. But you go and you do your own research because they're telling you shit like Lomachenko's the greatest and all of that kind of stuff. And I'm so disappointed in some of the fighters. I watched the British broadcast of that fight. Okay, I watched the British broadcast and they were saying the same things that Kurt said the American guys were saying. The greatest of all time and all of this shit coming from ex-fighters like Tony Bellew. I don't listen to these clowns. Tim Bradley, Tony Bellew. I like Andre Ward, but he's got to step up and be more real. Wilder is the only fighter in this whole era that I've seen who has no apologies, okay? He steps up, he says what the fuck he wants. He doesn't work for the machine like Andre Ward does. I mean, Andre Ward is about the best commentator out there for the fighters, but he still works for the machine. You can hear it. He's kind of holds back and stuff like that. Wilder don't hold back. All right, Dirty South up in this motherfucker. That's all I got to say for right now.
All right, let me do a couple things before I pass it to KQKC, because we got people showing a lot of love in the building. Definitely appreciate you guys supporting. Woot said absolutely blood. Ricky Samuels, respects to the kings of the OG boxing talk. Hashtag LDBC. St. Cruz in 78 should ask Deontay to wear an LDBC patch on his trunks. He just might do it. Bomb Squad. Clifton Prince, said, much love in that super chat. Thank you. Layla D, much love in that super chat. Said, good morning, everybody. Canelo's brother is straight garbage, no doubt. OG, BFTB. Hey, man, BFTB is my workout live stream, man. Y'all definitely check out BFTB every day, Monday through Friday, around 4:30 Eastern Standard Time, 3:30 Central Standard Time. Yo Woot again, and he says BFTB says salute OGs. Yo Woot said just thank you, man. I appreciate that in the super chats. I think we caught up with the super chats. Thank you guys so much. I wanted to embarrass you, Nick Yashaputi, whatever your name is, dude. You laugh at the idea that what did you say? Something to the effect of Deontay Wilder has better skills than Lomachenko. Ha 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 ha. Look, man. Skills analysis of skills is a tricky thing, because your skills don't matter if somebody knocks your head clean off your shoulders. What difference does it make? Is Lomachenko as skilled as Orlando? Is Orlando Salido as skilled as Lomachenko? Hey, somebody hit that mute. Somebody, she going on in the back. No, he's not. Did he win? Yes, he did. And Orlando Salido said, look, man, you're not going to outbox Lomachenko. You got to beat him up. That's what he said. You got to beat him up. And he proceeded to beating him up. So live with it. But if you want to object, like I love how you guys that talk about biased and unbiased, always want to look at things that are objective. Let's be objective. Well, look, boxing skills are subjective. Your determination about who has the better boxing skills is a subjective determination. That's your opinion. You can't point to boxing skills. You can't say, oh, I like that jab better. You like that bad jab better than that jab. Okay? Because your skills have to depend on what your talent are. So that's subjective. Who has better skills? I think Floyd Mayweather Jr. has better skills than Lomachenko. You think Lomachenko has, or I'll be better. I think that Canelo Alvarez has better skills than Lomachenko. You think Lomachenko has better skills than Canelo. That's an opinion. You know what's objective? The record. Deontay Wilder's never lost a professional fight, and he's had 41 of them, or 42 of them. Lomachenko's had 15 and he lost. Deontay Wilder has 10 championship fights that he's won. Lomachenko has only had 15 fights, period. So objectively speaking, Deontay Wilder is better because he has more wins, he has more knockouts, and financially he makes a lot more money. Because like I said, even if you want to go into that, well, who makes the most money? Deontay Wilder's, I think I saw Deontay Wilder up there in the top paid athletes because he's doing what? Giving the fans what they want to see, and they're giving them their money in return. So I like Deontay Wilder in any comparison over Vasyl Lomachenko, especially if you just say, let him fight. Let him fight. Who you putting your money on? How is Lomachenko going to shift and pivot and punch over the top of Lomachenko? What's he going to do? Hit Deontay Wilder in the knees a bunch of times, throw his knee out? That's below the belt. Can Lomachenko even land a legal punch on Deontay Wilder? I don't know if he can because he's a little ass midget. Man, I stopped comparing little ass 130-pound fighters, 135-pound fighters to big ass 6'7", 225-pound killers. Okay, who they would never come near in the street and they would never come near in the boxing ring. Anyway, let me pass on the conversation to KQKC. KQ.
Yes.
You killing me with them looks. What's going
Oh,
on, man? What's your thoughts on 78 Sports TV's interview?
oh, okay. I'm sorry, but when I be listening to you talk, I just use my face features, like, ooh, okay, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, that was a great interview, and like I say, Deontay Wilder always said that he's the people's champ. And Blood, you're right. We all are from pretty much the inner city. We know how it works. We've been there. If it's just to visit, we know people live there. We got relatives live there. I mean, we have a touch of, we have that in common, and Deontay Wilder do too. Just because he's in Alabama, that don't mean nothing. There's a lot of black folks in Tuscaloosa. I've been there before. My relatives are down there. So, but he speaks like a fighter I used to know or heard of, and he speaks whatever he got on his mind. He does not feed into the narrative, and that's what I like about it. And yes, the governing bodies are getting rich. They just went up not too long ago on the sanctioned body fees. And I always had that suggestion. People in the chat, I always had that suggestion that uh, um, uh, the LWC or whoever. These fighters need insurance. These fighters need a union. I mean, you got the NFL; they got a players' union. Look at O.J. Simpson. He has a pension that not even Ron Goldman can touch. Can't touch. Nobody can touch that. That's his. He lives off of that. He can't make no book or nothing like that. They'll take the proceeds, but he cannot. They cannot touch his pension. And the boxers need that. Floyd messed up his hand in a fight one time. He had to take his kids home, then go to the hospital. And then he had to pay cash. No matter. I mean, hell, I don't care if it's Medicaid. It doesn't matter. These fighters are getting treated worse than I ever seen lately. But then again, you got to fight. You got to have that heart. You got to have that courage. You have to be in it to win it. Deontay Wilder, he's always in the gym. He knows what he has to do to win. And stay away from them damn drugs. Because all it's doing is deteriorating your body and your head. That's all. And the governing bodies, they not doing their job, because they seem like they don't want to ban anybody or suspend anybody on a long period of time because they're going to miss some sanction fees. They need to do their job. Now, the WBC belt always been, they said, the most prestigious belt in all the governing bodies. But right now, I think the IBF, because they're making them fight their mandatories. They're making them make fights. Now, Deontay Wilder, he's right. If the governing bodies ain't on board, then go around them. If you can self-promote yourself, you go ahead and do it. They don't have to be a part of it. But I guarantee you, when you tell them that, they're gonna be want to be a part of it then. I guarantee you that. Because money is the root of all evil. And we all know that. We all seen that. So what we need to do is all come together and say, you know what? The governing body, freeze them out then. Don't worry about it. Because look, everybody know who the champion is or who the champion is not. A belt don't define a champion. A belt just represents that you are the champion. That's all. If it left up to me and I was a champion, look, keep the belt. I know I won. I know I'm the champion. Y'all can have the belt. Y'all can have the belt. My name gonna go in the history books. I see it then. My grandkids will see it then. So keep the belts. I don't need that. I can use that money for something else. So therefore, my kids can go to college besides your kids. You see, that's what it's all about. See, the money is not there no more. Like I try to tell everybody, the Floyd Mayweather era, that's gone. HBO, that's gone. There's a new breed of people coming in here. You got to understand that. This is a new breed of fighters. Yeah, they're hungry. but they're not hungry for money right now. They want a belt. They want to win. You know. Then, of course, down the line, look at Tevin Farmer. I want more than 2 million. Man, you never made 2 million. You know, sometimes you gotta stay in your damn lane, and you be better off. That's all I have.
All right. Hey, one thing real quick, because I'm gonna pass that to Kurt. I want to say one thing, man, because before I forget this, because I'm still tricked. First, because how Blood just said you from, most people here from the inner city. I'm not from the inner city. I grew up where basically I grew up about a bunch of Europeans and European Americans, right? And let me tell you what I know y'all do. When y'all losing, you change the rules. That's what you do. When all else fails, change the rules. So if championships, if you can't have champions, you can't win, we're going to just split the leagues up. If you can't find basketball players that can dominate, what do? You change the rules. Now, no hand checking. No help. Nope, we don't like that. Can't hand check, can't dunk. You can use this we'll use this primarily examples outside of the sport of boxing. When people wanted Eastern Europeans to come into the basketball leagues, right? In the early 2000s, what'd you do? You took out hand checking, allow zones, put in a 3-point line, and now you have an entirely different sport than you had in the 1980s when people were trying to kill each other in the ring because you could not find people that you wanted in there that could compete on that level. So you try to change the rules, and then what happens is that same level of talent just adjusts. And now you got 7-footers, the same guys who would have been in the paint shooting shots from outside. Now you got guys coming in from the amateurs getting championship fights in their second fight. You just change the rules. You also change our criteria about what greatness means. Right? Now it's how many of these garbage ass belts do you fight? That's what you do. You talk about, instead of talking about who beat who and what the actual records are. No, you want to talk about who got to the belt fastest. Getting to the belt fastest is a byproduct a lot of times of who the promoter wants to give the shots to. When all else fails, change the rules. That's what I see happening from the majority community many, many times. If you can't win an election, what do? You allow people to donate as much money to the elections as now money, donations, political donations by individuals become freedom of speech. Just change the rules. And the reason I know that to be the case is because that's what I do for a living. That's what people that work in a legal field do. We examine rules, we write rules, and that's what contracts are. Contracts are mutually agreed upon set of rules, and you just change the rules. And you set the rules in a way that favor you. And that is what I've seen in boxing. Changing it to 15 round from 15 to 12, changing the same day weigh-ins to day before weigh-ins. So now guys, and I do believe there's a financial thing behind that as well, but now guys like Lomachenko who would have had to fight, Lomachenko would have never been able to fight at 126 back in the 1970s. He would have had to start off at 135 pounds because it would have been same day weigh-ins, right? Like there was when Archie, I say Archie Moore. I was about to say, yeah, all right, I can use Archie Moore too. Anyway, it is what it is with that. Blue Blood, I think I already sent you the link, man, so you should be getting it. Claire's a Fanon snapping on point right now, real. I'm telling you, man, that's what it is. If you want, whatever you look at, just pay attention to changes in the rules. Pay instant replay. Did you see that nonsense, that WBC instant replay? Now how you going to do it? You're going to snap. Now you're going to be like, hold on. That was a shot behind. Did you see how the instant replay was used to keep? Now, much respect to the WBC, but this is how it was played. Joseph Boazzi won on a knockout yesterday with a shot that was clearly behind the head. He low blowed him and landed that shot back on the back of the head and knocked out a guy. But when the little Mexican dude hit Mini Me with a low shot, they overturned the fight. I was like, what happened to the instant replay when Boazzi hit the dude on the back of the spine? If you change the rules, don't apply the rules the same way. But at the end of the day, those PBC fighters are winning that because they're the ones making the money. Blue Blood Sports TV in the building. What is good, sir?
What's shaking with y'all, man?
All good, man. Welcome to the channel. You wanted to get on the chat and cook, and we by all means let all superstars cook. We have favoritism around this bit.
I just wanted to come in and say one thing, man. I love this, man. You guys are doing this, man. You know, I'm not just saying that because y'all my brothers, man. I'm saying that because I thoroughly enjoy it, man. And I know for now you created, so you see a different level of likes and stuff like that, man. But you know, we got the numbers is 400 people, man, and the numbers are still growing, and the likes should be 400. Come on, man. Come on, like we got legends here early in the morning on a Sunday morning, man, dropping this now. This is important because y'all not just dropping opinions of who you think will be who. Y'all giving all types of different perspectives from the background, all different types of. I'm listening and I'm gaining knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And now I want to tell the chat, man, support it. Support it. Smash the like button. Share it. You got Fernando Don on here. You got Kurt, the historian. We got the Godfather Blood. We got another historian, KQKC. Come on, man. Support it, man. Smash the like button, man. Share it. They up early in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Come on, I know some of y'all still laying in bed with crust in your eyes. You listening. Support it. Smash the like button. Show some love. Share the video, man. This is important. They're giving you insight on the sanction bodies, the ranking systems. This is not just your opinion. This is facts. They're giving you facts. They're giving you behind the scenes information. That you can't get this nowhere else. You can't get this nowhere else. I don't care where you go. No disrespect to nobody else, but you ain't getting this nowhere else. They're giving you information on boxes. I'm pretty sure 50% of the chat don't even know who these boxes are. That's how far back they could go. They're giving you legal information, legal advice. Come on, man, smash the like button. Smash it. You got in no way. I know for now you probably see a different number because I know how YouTube do, but I'm seeing 120 likes and I'm seeing 420 people. Something's wrong there. And it's a consistent 420 people. So smash the like button. Share it. You enjoying it? I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it. I'm with the kids going to get breakfast, and this is what I'm listening to. This is what my kids is listening to. And look, you can see my kids right there. My son is right there. 8 years old. My daughter back there. She's 4. I see 420 people, so I know y'all listening too, and y'all loving it too. So smash the like button. Share the video. Please. I'm loving this. I appreciate y'all, man. I just wanted to come on and say that, man. God, that was just annoying me. I'm looking at 400 some people, and the likes should be at the very least 300. Come on. I know we don't have 300 haters in the building. And I know we don't have 300 haters in the building. So maybe you forgot. Even if you forgot, smash it. Please. But salute to y'all, man. I'm going to keep listening to y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Much love, Blue.
Yeah, bro. I mean, you're older like us. You past 40. So, hey, we're glad to have you. My blood brother. My blood
Hey,
brother.
listen.
My blood.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm soaking up this knowledge right now. I'm going to use this knowledge to make a video.
Yeah, that's what's up.
You know what I'm saying? So this is why, listen, y'all dropping so much knowledge. I'm soaking this up because I'm going to the Anthony Joshua press conference on Wednesday or Thursday, and I'm listening to what y'all say so I can present questions to him. And I know a lot of people out there is going to make content based off of this. So smash the like button and share it. Come on.
That would be appreciated.
Yeah. I appreciate y'all, man. Salute to y'all.
I appreciate you, blood. Hey, man, much glad to see you on. Hey, by the way, man, I'm gonna come by. I didn't get a notification for your first live stream, man. I wanted to be
Yeah, I
on
know. You know what happened? YouTube, the day I was supposed to go back, YouTube blocked me. I wasn't even able to go back. Remember we talked and I told you the day I was supposed to come back. They ain't let me go back. Then I ended up going the next morning, but it was giving me problems with that. So, you know. And they wasn't trying to monitor. I don't know. You know how YouTube is, man.
Funny business. Yeah, I'll make sure y'all go by Blue Blood Sports TV and show that man, because that ain't free going over there to do what that dude's doing. Traveling, hitting that road and all that stuff, man. Make sure y'all really hit up that dude's super chats, watch his videos, support that man, because that dude is definitely investing time and energy and pushing that, and really, really pushing that news out there on a regular day. Old men like me, I ain't got enough time. God damn, boy, you be putting in that work.
The grind. That's what I'm saying, man. We grind, man. And when this is a Trill, we got Trill Boxing. No disrespect to no other platforms, but nobody, you're not getting this. You're not getting this. So come on, man.
That's what's up.
Share it, like it. Come on. We should have at least 400 likes. I know it ain't 300 haters in here. Come on, stop it. That's laziness. That's what that is. Smash the like button and share the video. All right, man.
You got 300 likes in here. I see 300, dog. I appreciate you, man.
No doubt. Salute to you, man.
Yeah, you pumped it up. That's what's up. That's that New York DJ, man. When did you DJ in New York or MC?
Nah.
MC or DJ? You out here with that New York, man. What they used to do? And the motherfuckers be like, put hands in the air. What is it? Can I get a yeah?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking. I'm getting
like you just don't care. It's that New York.
Blue.
You came with that B-boy style.
New York state of mind.
Man. Yo, listen.
Blue.
Yo, what up, Kurt?
Get my number from Fanon so we can talk behind the scenes.
I got you.
Okay.
All right, I'll send it as soon as we get over here. All right, y'all.
Blood. My blood. Salute, Godfather.
What's up, my brother? Yo, man. Hey, man, good to see you on the live streams, Blue, man. Hey, man, I'm going to get pretty soon, man. I got to catch up with you, bro.
Yo, Blood, do me a favor. Text me the link to your new channel so I could drop it in all my videos.
Okay, I sure will, brother.
All right, thank you. Salute to y'all, man. Peace.
Thanks, bro.
Peace. No doubt. Peace.
All right, man. Salute to my man. Whose tube is this mine? And the Cash App said the Don. Keep educating, man. Bet that. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. And we got to fund a project, man, by Blood Boxing, man. We got to get Blood on them high level on back on his documentary grind, man. Must do. When you gonna be back on that grind on the documentaries, Blood?
Hey, man. You guys, I've almost completed the next installment of the Pernell Whitaker documentary. It should come in the next few days, man. It's going to be phenomenal. This one's going to be a little bit longer than the other two. I was trying to keep them 30 minutes, but we got a lot to cover on Pernell Whitaker. We have In Retrospect coming up after that. We have another great legendary Mexican fighter who there's no documentaries on, but that will be a surprise. I may reach out to Curtis Anderson and a few others behind the scene to see if they can help me with that project. But the documentaries continue. Retro Boxing and Documentaries is back, man. So you guys go over there and subscribe. I don't know. I've got about 1,700 new subscribers. Ain't did a video in 4 months. So I realize the importance and the value. And that's what it is, man. Anyone who does any kind of boxing history, that's why Scrapbook Boxing is a very important channel, because he leaves us something that we don't have. We're not going to get it on ESPN. We're not going to get it anywhere else, because boxing is a sport with a whole bunch of buried treasures, okay? What happens with Scrapbook Boxing is he goes in with that shovel and he displays these buried jewels to us, man. So we got to go out there. We got to subscribe to him, and I'm hoping that Kurt Anderson could talk him in to come into OG Boxing Talk.
Oh, I want to say something real quick about Scrapbook. I talk to him behind the scenes like every day. We're really close. he's having problems with the StreamYard, because I can, get him on for OG Boxing Talk or even Blood Boxing. So he's trying to work out some kinks with StreamYard, and Susie, as soon as he's available, I will get him on these channels, man. So the Scrap is a monster, a phenom, pure channel on YouTube, Boxing Talk. So I'm gonna have Scrap on as well.
Man, Scrapbook is fucking ridiculous. You know what? We talking now. We having a behind the scenes conversation. What I want to do for Scrapbook, I'm telling you, dude. What I like to do for Scrapbook, I want to be able. I would like to do the graphics on and have him audio over some of his videos, like, because when I'm telling you, dude, this cat shit is other level. It's like, dude, I thought Scrapbooks was writing a script. I mean, I thought he was reading off a script. And then he stopped one time and he was like, I'm trying to remember. And I was like, hold on, you trying to remember what a dude's name? You pulling all this shit off the top of your head? That dude right there is on another level, man. And he's definitely like a gem, man. That dude is a gem. And I shout out that dude as much as I possibly can, man. And it really is like, like Blood said, man, you really can't make a list, man. I listened to the video he did yesterday. I was on the middle of a walk. He dropped one, and he said his number one pound for pound all time is Sam Langford. And I listened to the explanation that he had for Sam Langford, and I was like, wow, this dude's perspective is I couldn't argue with him if I wanted to. Because I didn't know there was an Australian world heavyweight champion. I didn't even know there was an Australian world championship. So the fact that this dude knew the political structure of boxing back in the early 1900s, he could name off the top of his head the original Great White Hope who fought the other three White Hopes. I was like, it's fucking incredible, man. It's incredible, man. Seriously, man. If you guys really are fans of boxing and want to learn more about boxing, that is Scrapbook Boxing is the ultimate cheat sheet. He's the ultimate cheat sheet, and it's something that you really and truly cannot copy. You can't copy it. You can't fake it. It's just he's really, really is incredible, man. And I would very much like to see, man, how we can get, more of his stuff out there. Because it's on his website, which is, on his YouTube page, which he's documenting. But man, I'm telling you, you guys ever want to just sit back and lean back and listen to something and learn something, man, there's no better source for that than Scrapbook Boxing, man. It really, that I've run across, man. That I've run across. St. Cruz is all in Scrapbook's head. He's truly amazing. Langford is his number one. He knows Mayweather's hands would not have made it back then. Yeah, man, it is. And by the way, man, I did hear another channel say something that I thought was really crazy, but I'm not going to point out the channel because I do think the dude I think that it's a good channel, but please never say anything like, if you're listening, don't ever say anything like you don't know what the testing protocols were for Sugar Ray Robinson. You don't know what the steroid testing protocols were for Sugar Ray Robinson. Let me tell you what they were. There weren't any testing protocols for Sugar Ray Robinson because anabolic steroids were not invented till 1930. They weren't available to the mass public until 1980. And before the 1950s, the Germans were using anabolic steroids in their athletes, but that was for state sponsorship because the state had enough money to buy them. You have any idea how expensive D-ball would have been in 1945? It would have cost the entire purses of both fighters to get their hands on it. No. And when you say things like there were 5-ounce gloves back then, you don't know how they would have done with 15-ounce gloves. With 10-ounce gloves. Dude, how are you going to take a shot from somebody with a 5-ounce gloves? That means these dudes are getting hit with 5. I don't even know what the ounce gloves are. I know if they were smaller gloves, which means these guys are getting hit with harder shots. And there were same-day weigh-ins. And people were having loaded gloves. Just stop, dog. You know what I mean? Like Like, if you want to be a channel, if you're a channel and want to talk about, and this is where I try to keep, I tell people, I stay in my lane. Okay. I stay in my lane. And I know as a result of staying in my lane that I'm going to get things on my channel that people that are purely historical won't get, right? I'll do daily videos about the topic today in boxing, right? Who shot John today? Who said what today? And as a result, that's going to work within the YouTube algorithm. And there are going to be more people that watch my videos. As a result of more people watching the videos, more people are going to subscribe, all that, right? I understand that. But I'm not confusing myself with a scrapbook boxing. I will not do that. And it is and I think that people who have channels where you cover the day-to-day issues of boxing need to acknowledge the Kurt Andersons, the blood boxings, the scrapbook boxings, and people like that, because they are not in the everyday lane. We don't have videos that can do, I don't have a video on my page that can do what blood boxing just described, where he doesn't put up a video in, on a channel in 3 months, but he gets 1,600 new subscribers. How can that happen? Because it takes longer for the true fans of boxing that want to deal with the history of boxing to find that video and be interested in that video than it does something that you talk about every day. So don't look, the value, the contribution of the channels in boxing are not reflected through the views that you see on an independent video, on an individual video, or the subscribers that you see on an individual channel. It really is a true, how much do you contribute to the sport of boxing? And I think that the best thing that I contribute to the boxing, to the overall health of boxing and appreciated boxing, is by pointing people that may have heard about me to scrapbook boxing. Like, no, yeah, you say, oh yeah, you really know the history of boxing. No, I don't. I'm learning the history of boxing. But if you want to learn the history of boxing and you want to really appreciate this stuff, you got to go to scrapbook boxing and listen to scrapbook boxing tell you about all the fighters. These guys, just, you know what I mean, man.
And of course, I just want to say, Fanon, to Kurt Anderson, I really think that you and Scrapbook Boxing should do some kind of a live stream, just you two. I mean, because you guys are the boxing intellects. You guys are the historical intellects of YouTube. If you guys would just do something, man, I think it would be well taken, well received, bro. We need
what, Blood? We was talking about that. We had a show called Three Wise Men of Boxing, with me, Stormy, and Scrapbook. But me and Scrapbook, was thinking about doing something like that. We talked many times about it. So in the near future, I can't give you a definitive time, but we probably do a collab and some live stream videos on a platform where we'll talk about the turn of the century champions.
Yes, sir. Oh, and I would love to be an Eddie Hearn and take advantage of all your knowledge for my own benefit. So if you ever want to do that on my channel, let me be your Eddie Hearn. Let me exploit you for my own good.
Hey, for now, we're gonna talk about that, but I want to say this real quick. That Blood, my name got out there because I came from Marlo's Corner during the late night stream, and then Blood, was listening, and he put me on, and we did the early heavyweight series, which is a classic. We did the 81 heavyweight series with all the heavyweights, and we broke it down to his very last compound. So Blood got me out there. So I want to give him a big appreciate and shout out, man. Thanks a lot. And my name just took off from there. Everybody knew overnight. They was like Kurt Sugar, and Trey X gave me that name, by the way. But Blood got me out there, man. When I did the heavyweight series in the early 80s.
Yes, sir. Hey, I want to switch this on to boxing because we got about another 30. We're going to do about another 35 minutes. Because it was just really, I appreciate Blue Blood coming by, but let me transition best to boxing by pointing one thing out. Blood Boxing mentioned how in the Deontay Wilder interview, and I'm gonna go to KQK, we'll see with this. I think KQQ is on next. That people doing this generational wealth thing, and how boxing is You know, you don't have the wealth from the boxing match going to the children of boxers. The wealth that's being generated by the sport, or being actually directed towards, I think is a better way to use it, directed towards through boxing, is going to the promoters and the promoters family. Well, hey, bucket list boys, yeah, for sure, man. Just shoot me an email. Well, isn't that the situation with Eddie Hearn? I don't think that there's a better example of that than Eddie Hearn himself. Eddie Hearn is somebody is a silver spoon kid who, you know, went to private prep schools that were paid for by fighters out of the UK, and now here he is doing the same thing with fighters in the UK, and now trying to come to the United States and take the gains of the fighters in the United States back to the UK to provide for his family. And that's one of the reasons why I am not a big supporter of Eddie Hearn at all. I think that was an excellent point that you made. But is there now one of the other things that Deontay Wilder talked about was with Anthony Joshua, and he said, why would I want to freeze you out when I want to destroy you? I was like, that dude vicious. And by Tyson Fury, QKC, where do you want to see happen in the heavyweight division with Deontay Wilder and the fights that are the Deontay Wilder, Luis Ortiz, Andy Ruiz, Anthony Joshua? How do you see that turning out, and how do you want it to turn out moving over the course of the next year or so?
Well, basically, you know, first of all, I would like to see the unification fights. All right. Now, if Ruiz, well, let me start here. If the rematch with Ruiz and Joshua. Now, if Joshua get his hands or get his belts back, there's not going to be a unification fight unless it's ordered, because it's no way that he wants to get in that ring with Deontay Wilder and lose those belts again. And Eddie Hearn is already thinking about that right now, because I know what type of snake he is. You know, he's thinking ahead. He's thinking devious shit already ahead. So I know what type of man he is. And he's not going to let Deontay Wilder get his hands on those belts, or the potential get his hands on that belt. Anytime you got a promoter that sit there and tell you, stop whining, stop crying, get it together, you know, I mean, whose side are you on? Then you tell him that, hey, if you lose, your career's over with. No, it's not. You only got 2 losses. Your career's not over. He's still a young man. I mean, whose side are you on? Who are you promoting? That's what really gets me. You know, I mean, maybe he need to get rid of his ass, because, see, you know, I know it's about money. You know, that's Saudi Arabia said, I pay you $40 million just to have the fight over here. Well, where that $40 million gonna go? Jimmy, where it gonna go? In his pocket. That's right, in his pocket. You think Anthony Joshua gonna get in it? No. Think Ruiz gonna get in it? No. You know, so I would love to see a unification between him and Anthony Joshua. Now, Deontay Wilder, he did say, hey, look, Anthony Joshua, keep your head up. It's only 1 loss. You can bounce back from there. You know, he's doing the right thing about not kicking a man while he's down. Now, me, I would put both feet on his damn neck, because I don't care. You know me. I don't give a shit. You know, forget that. Because he was privy to all that lying and shit for 3 years. You know, he know about all this. You know, the 50 million, all that stuff. Come on. But Deontay Wilder did a sensible thing. See, sometimes you can be a monster in the ring, and you can be a polite kitty cat outside the ring. But it takes personality to do that. See, that's why I look at him as one of the people's champ, just like Muhammad Ali was. Muhammad Ali was a dog in there. But when he got outside the ring, he was a perfect gentleman, a perfect gentleman. You know, see, that's how you can turn it on and turn it off. You know, but what I would like to see in the heavyweight division is a unification fight for all the belts. Now, I don't care who it is. Basically, I would like to see Wilder and Joshua go at it. Now, Ruiz, he knows his days are numbered. He knows that. So he's going to try to make the best of what he got. You know, He's going to try to make the best of the best with what he got for him and his family. Matter of fact, he's going to shoot. He's going to say, hey, baby, everybody going to college. You know, that's how you got to do it. But at the end, the two best heavyweights going to be standing up, getting ready to unify those belts. So that's what I want to see. So that's all I have tonight.
Yes, sir. Kurt Anderson, man, what do you see happening in the heavyweight division, man, over the next course of the next year or so, year and a half?
Well, I see. Joshua and Ruiz going to have their much anticipated rematch in December. I don't like the fact that Ruiz is doing a lot of partying, man, and I hope he's just not content in winning the first fight and him fighting in Saudi Arabia. I don't have a good feeling about that fight. My intuition is kicking in. I'm favoring Joshua. I want to see Wilder knock out Ortiz again, which I think is going to happen. Wilder, Fury, Fury say he's going to have the rematch. They're going to have the rematch. Nothing set in stone. I want Wilder to beat Fury and then take on the winner of Joshua and Ruiz and just get rid of all of them, become undisputed. What'd you say now?
You mean Ortiz? Because I think Ortiz is first.
Yeah, that's what I said. Ortiz, he beat Ortiz and then fight Fury and then fight the winner, Joshua and Ruiz, and then retire because he will have nothing else to prove. And a perfect world in the sport of boxing, I would like to see him take care of Ortiz, get rid of Fury, and then fight the winner of Joshua Ruiz, get all the belts, and retire on top of the mountain, because he has nothing else to prove. Wilder will go down as one of the hardest puncher, if not the hardest puncher in the history of the sport, with Joe Louis and Jack Dempsey and Rocky Marciano and Sonny Liston, George Foreman and Mike Tyson, and Ernie Shavers. This guy is a devastating puncher. I said he will become a better fighter if he hides the right hand, which he did against Brazil. He didn't overshoot the right hand like he did against Fury. Wilder still has the upside. He's in the prime of his career. I would just like to see him knock off those top guys and retire on top of the mountain. But in a perfect world, I would like to see an undisputed heavyweight champion.
Yes, sir. Let me get a couple super chats. I said, Kawan, much love in that super chat. Trick Nolte, my man, thank you so much, man, for your support for the channel. Brothers UK says, peace to the panel. Peace to you, Brothers UK, man. We appreciate them pounds. And we also really appreciate you guys out there in the UK that come and listen to the channel, because you guys give me hope for boxing. And let me explain that before I pass on to my man Blood. The reason why I say, man, the guys like you, Brothers UK, really give me, make me, I really appreciate guys like you, Dr. Blick, Dark Truth, is because you're reasonable, knowledgeable boxing fans from the UK. And I know that there are a lot of fans like that in the UK, but you're just not as vocal as those Eddie Hearn bots that run around trying to, God, man, those dudes are out of their mind, man. But I much appreciate you, Brothers UK. Blood boxing, man. What do you see happening in the heavyweight division over the next year, and what do you want to see happen? Go ahead and cook on that, please.
Well, of course, we would like to see one guy come out on top, because that's the only way those belts are going to gain any credibility back. Okay, what they're doing with Lomachenko down in lightweight, they need to make that happen at heavyweight. That's where all of those guys are going to profit. But now we have these problems with the WBO, where the PBC is no longer considering the WBO. And I agree with Teddy Atlas, okay? I know Teddy Atlas ain't the best guy in the world, and he's one of those guys who will over-promote Lomachenko and guys like that. But I do agree with one thing that he said. The guy who was hosting that show that he has now on YouTube asked Teddy Atlas, what do you think about the WBO being downplayed by the PBC? And Teddy Atlas' answer was that, shit, why didn't they get rid of all of them? In fact, he was mixing up the belts, and he's supposed to be a historian. He was mixing up the WBC and the WBA and IBF. I don't even think right now, if you ask Teddy Atlas which belt came first, he wouldn't even know. Okay, and he's supposed to be a boxing historian. I could tell, because listening to him talk about boxing, I've heard some mistakes and things like that. I could tell you he's not on the scrapbook boxing or Curtis Anderson's level when it comes to the history of the sport. He does have a lot of insight because he's been involved in the sport for fucking decades, okay? So he has a lot of insight and basic knowledge. But the thing about it is, let's go back to your question. I agree. If they cannot come to terms, say that if Andy Ruiz or Anthony Joshua wins, they're already talking about mandatories and things like that. I've heard some of the channels from over there in the UK. They're already saying, well, if he wins, he's going to have to fight his mandatory Alexander Usyk in the WBO. And right now, Alexander Usyk is ranked #1 in the WBO and has never even fought at heavyweight. That's just how ridiculous these rankings are. You have Alexander Usyk #1, Tyson Fury 2, Dillian White 3, Anthony Joshua 4, some guy named Spawn. Looking at this, none of these guys fought each other. Okay? Let me see. Yeah, none of these guys. So it's the rankings are a problem. So if Anthony Joshua gets the belts back, they're going to start saying that he needs to fight mandatories, and the whole circus is going to start again, because the fight fans that we have in existence today are not like the fight fans from yesterday. They care more about who's the A side and who's the B side. They create barriers instead of trying to get these fighters to fight each other. Already, Anthony Joshua was saying, if I get the belts back, don't ask me nothing about fighting Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder. They froze me out. So he wants to go around and and believe me, he's going to be very selective on who he fights moving forward. You know, I'm pretty sure he's going to fight guys like the guy who fought yesterday, Huey Fury. And even though he lost, that'd be a good fight for Anthony Joshua. The rematch with Povetkin and all of that kind of stuff is what we're going to see out of Anthony Joshua. And if that happens at that time, Wilder just needs to do what Larry Holmes did in the early 1980s and stick to the WBC. Eventually, Larry Holmes did something. He changed. Larry Holmes was a trendsetter because he decided to go against the WBC and take up the IBF. He's one of the guys who gave credibility to the IBF along with Marvin Hagler. Now, Kurt Anderson knows what I'm talking about, okay? So when you have this kind of mentality and you're a trendsetter, it's time to go to another belt, because these belts are not the original belts anyways. So if they come in there with that mentality, let Anthony Joshua do his thing over there with the Dark Chuckers. They could praise him. But we all know, like Deontay Wilder said on that interview with 78 Sports TV, we all know as fight fans who the champion is. Anthony Joshua will always be remembered for all the memes that's going around. I saw one with somebody posted where Anthony Joshua's spirit got knocked out his body and shit. All of that shit is going to be forever on YouTube, okay? We don't have that kind of footage on Wilder at this time. Now, I'm not going to say that Wilder can't lose, okay? Because great fighters lose. I mean, it happens. Even Ali, even the great Ali lost, okay? So it's very possible that he could lose in this boxing environment. But as of right now, he's the king. And he does not need to chase behind Anthony Joshua or meet the demands of sanctioning bodies. If they don't want to give him a shot at their belt, then they could fucking get Ghost Fall like here, because those aren't the real lines anyway. So in my opinion, I don't care about the undisputed no more. I really don't, because this is not the same environment in 2019. The first organization to come together that presents a valid ranking system and a one champion system is the one that I will hold the most credit for, the most regard for. Okay? So that's how I feel about the whole thing, my brother. And I'm going to leave it at that. Yep.
R9 Sin 4 saying, I'm going to respond to a couple of these things, man. You're saying something I don't understand, bro. God, I'm speaking like I said, bro. I can't believe I said, bro. Wow. Okay. I can't. I'll be listening to Cat, man. Hang out with too many 14-year-olds. Look, bro. I don't understand how anybody could say that the heavyweight division sucks right now with Deontay Wilder in it. Deontay Wilder has got to be, for me, is one of the most exciting fights that I've seen in years. If you look at the past several fights that he had, all of them were electric. The last fight he had against Dominic Brazil, that was an exciting. To see that dude fold somebody like that, dude, you don't get to see that every day, man. Y'all can't tell me you get to watch a bunch of some 140-pound fighters. They're going to lay somebody out like that, where somebody just takes a nasty plunge. Dude, that is crazy. He made Tyson Fury take that plunge. Before that, he had Bermain Sivert all bent over crazy, all kind of bent over crazy in the corner. Before that, he did it to Gerald Washington. He did it to Spilka. What else? I mean, when you get to see there's that type of tension in a fight with Deontay Wilder. I don't see how anybody can't like watching a Deontay Wilder fight, regardless if you like him or not. Like the Lomachenko fight, dude. I like Lomachenko as a fighter. That's a tough little dude, man. He changed up when he started walking down. You can't help but respect Lomachenko when he starts walking down. When he started walking down Campbell, like bump this shit. I'm about to just knock this dude out. And he started putting that press on him. When he started putting the press on him in the last couple rounds, I switched. Bro, this is gonna go to the distance. Like, oh man, this dude might knock him out because you could see him step up the pace. But that's not as that's not as good a fight as getting to see Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua. Even though the fight wasn't as good. Like, we haven't been able to get the fight that we want to see necessarily. But there's been a bunch of very entertaining fights in the heavyweight division since 2017, man. For real. Anthony Joshua versus Klitschko, that was an exciting fight. There it was. Anthony Joshua versus Takam was kind of some crap. The Povetkin fight was the Joseph Parker fight was good. Those were good fights. The question is whether or not these guys are actually going to be in a fight, where it's going to result in the fight that, at least from my perspective, that I want to see. But I've enjoyed all of the drama that's going on in the heavyweight division. It's been entertaining. You know what I mean? But from just a pure boxing standpoint, we haven't been able to get the answer that we want. I can't compare that to the 140-pound division, which is, in my opinion, I would like them to get rid of that weight class. I think one of the best things can happen in boxing are two things. They can get rid of weight classes like cruiserweight, 168 pounds, 154 pounds, 140 pounds, 130 pounds, 122 pounds, and just go back to the original 8 weight classes so you can see it. Because if there was only 8 weight classes, there would be that many fewer people ranked. If you could go back to boxing, in this with promoters would never want this. But I think the best way to go about making boxing something where it's exciting and you're always seeing the fights that you want to see is having the original 8 weight classes, having 1, maybe 2 sanctioning bodies, 2 sanctioning bodies like the 1960s at best. Then you'll wind up situations where those rankings mean something, And the WBC start doing things like mandating your number 4, like start having mandatory fights between the number 10, the number 10 and the number 8, right? The number 9 and the number 7, the number 1 and the number 3. And before those guys can be named mandatory, make the number 1 fight the number 3. And before you can be number 1, you got to fight the number 1 the number 3 has got to fight the number 9. Like what Blood is saying about all you looking at Dillian White. Dillian White ranked number 1, but he ain't never fought anybody in the top 10. That means that their criteria for ranking is totally subjective. And it is, because I know that because I read the rules. And they come up with the committee, and the committee all shares their opinion about who should be ranked number 1 through number 10. In the WBO, you have the WBO having regional titles. That's why the WBO rankings suck, because you got regional titles, and whoever won the regional title is now ranked number 1 based on the fact that they had some regional, NABF Oriental belts or some crazy shit like that. But if they mandate, I think that if one of the ways they can improve the ranking systems within the sanctioning bodies is for them to mandate that those guys fight each other within that sanctioning body. The problem with that will be with the promoters, because then the promoters can't hop and jump all over the place. They can't have Dillian White. Dillian White might not be able to be ranked in the WBO and the WBA and the IBF and the WBC, right? And you probably have to pick one to get ranked in, which would necessarily draw all that stuff in. That's why I talked earlier today about the rules. If you want some of this stuff to tighten up the rules. get less ambiguity in the rules of the WBC, less ambiguity in the rules of the WBO. Other than that, man, you got this. That's what you get, this hodgepodge of nonsense where now people can claim that, well, Manny Pacquiao was the hot guy last week, right? Now it's Lomachenko. Lomachenko just fought, so now it's Lomachenko. The week before that, 2 weeks ago, it was Manny Pacquiao, the greatest fighter of all time. Now Lomachenko fought. Now he's the greatest fighter since the same people talking about Lomachenko's now one of the all-time greats, but they didn't mention Manny Pacquiao, who after beat Keith Thurman, he was one of the greatest fighters of all time. That's what Max Kellerman said. So anyway, it is what it is with that. I went off on that a little bit. Look, man, we're gonna go round robin here, man. And Blood, we're gonna end it in a little bit different way. Blood, ask the panel a question, and at the end, give them your thoughts. And then we'll wrap it up from there. Is there any thoughts that you have, any discussion that you want to have, Blood, the panel address? I love catching Blood off.
Asking the panel question. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, but I was talking shit before you started. I said I love catching you off guard, man. See if you pay attention.
Yeah, well, we know that Emmanuel Lewis is the greatest trainer around that was ever lived. But let me stop. But no, man, I really
don't get to laughing, KQ. KQ took his ass off of mute just laughing.
You should have let us know last week that next week I'm gonna let you guys ask a question. Because now I bet you I do have a question, but I didn't know you was gonna open it up. So you should do this every week, okay?
We will.
Give us at least one question. Okay? That's a good idea. I like that.
Yeah, we will. We'll rotate it. Once I'm in negotiations with Curtis Anderson to get him back. You know how him and Scrapbook bet on themselves. They bet on themselves. They're like, I ain't signing a long-term contract with your ass.
It's be on this platform, man. I'm here to talk boxing and this panel was fired to chat as well, man. So hey, I'm a hired gun, man.
Oh, DeMarcus Mack. I bet you believe the earth is flat also. The earth is flat. Walk your ass outside. And tell me when that motherfucker bends. Your perception is flat, dog. Your perception is flat, dog. That's the answer to is the world flat? Yeah, because it's your perception. You don't perceive the world as oval. Okay? You perceive it as flat. So we can play all kind of mind games, dog, if you'd like. Go ahead, Otto Blood.
Okay, I got a question. This will lead up to, since I'm doing a Pernell Whitaker documentary, and Lomachenko might become the first undisputed lightweight since Pernell Whitaker. I want to know, because when I looked at Lomachenko, like Kurt Anderson says, these guys are come forward fighters. I did notice that he used a lot of lateral movement with his legs, but he doesn't appear to have the ability to to go on the inside and utilize the head movement that Pernell Whitaker had. And not only that, he doesn't have the body attack. Pernell Whitaker's body attack was underrated, man, which I'm going to show throughout the documentary. But how do you think that Lomachenko does against the lightweight version of Pernell Whitaker, who fought guys like Greg Hogan? I want to ask you guys, how does Lomachenko do against the lightweight version of Pernell Whitaker? Okay, that's my question.
Well, I'm going to take this one. A fight between Pernell Whitaker and Vasyl Lomachenko. I will give Whitaker 9 rounds to 3 on a wide unanimous decision. He may even drop Lomachenko. Lomachenko does not take body punching well, and Pernell Whitaker was a very underrated body puncher, like you said. This is a man who shut out the great Azuma Nelson 12 rounds to 0. Nelson was moving up in weight, but he beat him with skill. Buddy McGirt was a very underrated fighter. He beat him twice. Pernell was a very, very special fighter coming out the 1984 Olympic team with Holyfield and Mildred Taylor, Breland, and Biggs. He was the best fighter. He was a great technical fighter. And a lot of people don't notice that he helped Floyd in his career. He mentored Floyd Mayweather. They used to spar, a lot when Floyd was 16 and 17. Purnell, one of the greatest fighters I've ever seen in my life, and I've seen them all. And I like Lomachenko. I like his aggression. There's, hey, losing to Pernell Whitaker is and I'm not demeaning Lomachenko in any kind of way, but I don't think the fight will be close because, see, to beat Lomachenko, you put pressure on him or you beat him with athletic ability. And I always say rhythmic and perpetual motion, with skill is a deadly concoction. And he would not be the better athlete in the ring or technical fighter. He will be the B side. And Purnell was special. I think he beats Lomachenko very easily. 9 rounds to 3 or 10 rounds to 2.
KQ?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm sorry I had to get off of mute. Apologize. Yeah. Pernell Whitaker. Very good defensive fighter. Lomachenko will have a hard time hitting him because if he have to, he get all the way down to the floor, inches away from the floor. That's just the way he fights. Great southpaw. And he will hit you with that left straight down the line. Now, Lomachenko, yes, he has this little move he does with his hands and feet at the same time, stepping around. But you have to understand, Pernell Whitaker is more athletic at that time, period, than Lomachenko. Now, he's a little bit shorter than I think Lomachenko. I'm not for sure. But still, he has some more experience and he has more power than Lomachenko. So now with that comparison, I can't compare it like Kurt can or Blood, but I know which one is the best fighter and which one has the best move. So I would say Pernell Whitaker will beat Lomachenko. Now Lomachenko will win, maybe about 4 rounds. I would say, because he will score on you. But Pernell Whitaker has that defense. Your defense is your offense. And as long as you have a strong defense, you're going to have a strong offense. He's a great counterpuncher. He can fight on the back foot. He could come forward and fight. He doesn't do the switching and all that. That's that new wave shit. Everybody's switching now. But back then, he knew how to move. He knew how to go this way, go that way. And Kurt Wright, Floyd learned a lot from Pernell Whitaker. He learned a lot of defensive skills from Pernell Whitaker. I've seen a lot of old tapes of Pernell Whitaker. And he did a lot of good work with the young boys and the young club, boys clubs. And so, yeah, Pernell Whitaker was a hell of a fighter and a hell of a defensive fighter. Now, you're talking about defense, about Floyd Mayweather. Ask about Pernell Whitaker defense. He had a hell of a fight defense. And that makes you a good fighter. Because, like I say, if you can protect yourself, protect your head, protect from getting hit, that leaves you open for counter punching. Because the guy can't hit you, but you can hit him back, all the time. So he fight good off the ropes, when he can get away from the ropes. He get away and just dodge out and won't get touched. And next thing you know, he's right back there in the center of the ring. So that's my take on it. And I really believe that he can beat Lomachenko if this was his time. So, yeah. So that's all I have for now.
All right, my take on it is I think it'd be an interesting fight. I take Pernell Whitaker to win because of this, man. Because I think that I'm taking the robbery out of it. Right? I'm going to take boxing politics. I take boxing politics out of it, right? Because like the scorecard yesterday, that shit was ridiculous, right? 118, 109. That fight was not that wide. But I'm going to take the boxing politics out of it, and I'm going to tell you, I think the biggest problem that Lomachenko is going to have is because the way that if Lomachenko is a little too robotic for Pernell Whitaker, but his best attribute that Lomachenko has is that jab. He has a very good hard straight right jab that he'll switch between pity patting and landing it, right? And that's what I really thought threw off. I think that's what threw off Luke Campbell, because it's like he switches from like pity patting to hard shots. And I think the amount of time that he spends pity patting, that Pernell Whitaker is not going to be there for. First of all, Pernell Whitaker is not going to be there for that jab. Pernell Whitaker is not the type of fighter that you're going to hit with the same punch twice. He's going to take away that jab, and eventually he's going to force Lomachenko. Can you hit mute, KQKC? Thanks.
Sorry about that. Sorry.
I see him eventually forcing Lomachenko to do what Lomachenko did with Campbell, which is start to come forward. When Lomachenko starts coming forward, he's going to get his ass eaten up, right? So Lomachenko, I don't think is going to be able to engage when his plan A, which is pity pat, counter with hard jab, pity pat, counter with hard jabs, pivot out, catch him when he's turning. Pernell Whitaker has too much lateral footwork for that. Is going to be able to keep the distance from Lomachenko a lot more easily than other fighters have. And you notice how Lomachenko when one of the things I thought was really smart that Campbell did was when Lomachenko stopped and invited him in, Campbell, after Campbell got knocked down, Campbell just stayed on the outside like, no, I'm not coming in there and doing that. He stood on the outside and he waited and he made Lomachenko come forward. I think that Pernell Whitaker will more quickly than anybody else force Lomachenko to come in and come forward, because Lomachenko's not really ever landed any significant shots with the pity pat shots, and he's going to get countered with some real hard straight lefts from Pernell Whitaker. And then when he starts moving forward and starts taking it, the plan B, like how he knocked down Linares and how he how he knocked out Linares, how he knocked down Pedraza, and how he knocked out Campbell, was when he started coming forward and was like, okay, now I got to press the action. When he tries that against Pernell Whitaker, he's going to get knocked out, because you can't fight Pernell Whitaker coming forward like that, where he starts walking down and starts kind of playing that game, right? He switched between that. And I just don't think that he has enough variation in his game to be able to deal with Pernell Whitaker. Pernell Whitaker is going to he's going to punish him for the pity pats, and he's going to punish him to the body with the pity pats. And another aspect of it, Pernell Whitaker is going to fuck with Lomachenko's head. Lomachenko is the bully. Lomachenko is intimidating fighters in the ring. And for good reason, dude. That's an aggressive, very intimidating guy. You see how this cat's kind of handling this stuff, like popping people on the inside. He's got these guys scared of him. Pernell Whitaker ain't going to be scared of him. Pernell Whitaker is going to beat that. Pernell Whitaker is going to beat him. That's how I see it. Kind of like Floyd Mayweather Jr. I don't even see it a close fight between Vasily Lomachenko and Pernell Whitaker. Because Pernell, what is Lomachenko going to do against a guy with that type of lateral movement? Somebody that is going to be able to fight in that cherry pick and pot shot him. You know what I mean? That's how I see it coming out, man. But the robbery. That's why I saw with my man, and shout out to Mr. Boxing today too. The wide unanimous decision with a robbery. If the politics are in it, yeah, he could get an Oscar De La Hoya. He get an Oscar De La Hoya type decision. But any guy that can do that in 2 weight classes above where he's best can do that to Oscar De La Hoya, because Oscar De La Hoya is longer, has longer, fast. He has longer reach, just as fast as hands. He hits harder. He's more aggressive than Lomachenko. And Pernell Whitaker just made that dude swing at air all day long. And I do believe Pernell Whitaker's got the longer reach too, and is a bigger guy. So that's my take on it. Well, look, man, we had 10:20. Let's get some calls. Oh, I forgot there was a super chat. Sorry. But Blood, what are your reactions on what our opinions were?
Man, you guys are awesome, man. That was like I'm like an addict, man, like a crack addict for boxing knowledge and history and different takes. So I think all of you guys hit a home run with that shit, bro. Thanks a lot to all 3 of you, man.
Yes, sir. Hey, next question next week is KQKC. We'll wrap it up with a KQKC question. Hopefully we can get Curtis back on soon.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely. Anytime. Anytime.
Yes, let me get the last. We're gonna close out. Let me get these super chats, man. I appreciate y'all's support so much. Mahari Sports Nation podcast said, "I'm loving the show for now. Kurt Sugar, KQKC, Blood, Scrapbook are real historians. I'm learning this knowledge as a young G. Hashtag LDBC. Yes, sir. I would not include myself as a historian. I'm a student of the history and I'm learning, but I'm getting there. Blood boxing conferences. Reggie Owen said Purnell can dance underwater and not get wet. Underwater and not get wet. Yes, sir. Clifton Prince, much love in that super chat. All right, KQKC. Let me get you to wrap it up. Wrap the show up. Let me know your final thoughts. We'll move that to Curtis Anderson and the Blood, and then we'll wrap it up.
All right. Well, I enjoyed this show as usual. I learned a lot, and yes, I don't consider myself also a historian, but I do know boxing, and I try to, talk about boxing, try to, have my subscribers and myself. We learning every day, and I know I'm learning every day. You can't never learn enough in boxing, and you can just like a fighter. A fighter always got something to work on in the gym. That's why he need to take his ass in the gym and stop sitting on the couch. And that way you get better and better, improve the things you're good at and get rid of the things you're not good at. But I really enjoyed being on this show. And I stayed awoke for the whole show. But that's all right though. So, hey, sometimes you have to learn, and like a fighter, you have to learn what to do and what not to do. And that's what I have done. Thanks to a good buddy of mine, that I learned from, and who he told me, hey, look, you gotta get you some rest, man. You can't grind all the time, you know. So that's what I've been doing, and it paid off. Because sometimes you gotta listen, and sometimes shut your mouth and listen. You might learn something. So anyway, it was a pleasure, especially with blood boxing. Man, I always admired that dude. Kurt Anderson, always. That's my guy. Always check on him and make sure everything cool with him. He doing all right. He eating good, everything. So, but anyway, I appreciate y'all. So, and I appreciate everyone in the chat. All right. And I will be coming on at 11:15 Central Time today.
All right, man. Let them know how to get you, man.
Okay. Yeah, you can get me at KQKC Boxing right here on YouTube. And if you go to my YouTube page, you can catch show more. You can see all my websites and emails. So, and with that, that's all I have.
All right, Curtis Anderson, man. Kurt Sugar.
Oh man, it's been a pleasure, like always, man. For now, man, you came up with a great platform, OG Boxing Talk, man, and I'm just glad to be a part of it, man. KQKC, we talk behind the scenes. Good dude, man. Love him, man. And Blood Boxing got me out there too, man. The Godfather, man. It's always a pleasure. Fanon, man. I love how you just breaks everything down to its very last compound. It's like a lawyer talking about boxing, and you have an uncanny way of putting the two together. I love the breakdowns, man. And the chat, you guys give me so many accolades, man. And hey, I'm just the man who love boxing. I listen to everybody's opinion. You could hit me, in the back scenes. I'm accessible. I love talk about everything, but I don't have a channel right now, so I'm just making cameo appearances. And anytime you want me on the channel for now, I'm available. I'm just a man who loves the sport of boxing. That's it. No politics, no drama, no nothing. Just the man who wants to talk boxing. So anytime you want me on, I'm available. Just shoot me a link, and I just want everybody to enjoy their holiday. Be safe, have fun, enjoy the food, and I'm out.
Real quick, hey, much love, Curtis. Before I pass this to my man Blood, two things. First, shout out to Stormy B Man. Blood said last fight we got to get Stormy B Man on OG Boxing Talk. So, hey, Stormy B Man, please hook up with Blood, and whenever whatever week is good for you, Blood, who is definitely executive producer of the show, wants you on the show, so that has to happen. Second, I want to. Gil Coles has a super chat with your name in it. KQKC said, "Can I get a KQKC super chat song before we go?"
You better not do it. You better not do it.
You, I ain't doing it. Hey, I don't believe in copyright infringements. Matter of fact, I have to do a disclaimer that my name is a derivative of Trill Boxing Talk. Therefore, please subscribe to. Make sure you go to Trill Boxing Talk Monday through Friday around 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Otherwise, they're gonna sue me for copyright violation. Okay, just so you know.
Oh, okay.
Like Fight Fan TV, yes, sir.
Oh,
Go
okay.
ahead. Can we get a super chat song from you in
Okay.
exchange for some subscriptions to KQKC Boxing?
Okay. Is this who's this? Gil Cole?
Yeah.
Okay. Gil Cole and that Sue chat.
Yes, sir. Blood Boxing,
Appreciate
close us out, man. That's hilarious, man. Close us
Man,
out.
I love that when KQKC does that singing, man. Man, I love it, man. Man, I tell you what, man, I love y'all brothers, man. I mean, y'all made my damn Sunday. Every Sunday, y'all make my whole Sunday, man. Coming on here talking boxing with my big brothers, man. And not to forget, Drew Titan was in here earlier, and we also had Blue Blood Sports TV come through, man. And Kurt Anderson, I'm hoping he comes on every week, man. I love chopping it up with the big homie Kurt Anderson. And yes, I am looking forward to getting other older brothers on here like Stormy B, man. And hey, we're just here to talk boxing, man, because we love the sport. We don't want to be involved in any other kind of talk other than boxing, okay? That's all we want. We want the best for boxing. We want the best to fight the best. That's why we're on here discussing the sport, man. But, you know, hey, it's been a great week of OG Boxing Talk. We're coming from out of the LDBC. You got so many great contributors to the sport of boxing, man. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to Blood. I do a live stream over there about maybe once a week or so, but I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna bring all the heat when I come on that show. Look out for Retro Boxing and Documentaries is back. I'm getting ready to drop Pernell Whitaker another episode, and once again, I would just like to thank my big brothers, Curtis Anderson, KQKC, and Fernanda Don. And I am out of here.
All right, Roranoro Zorro. Before I get out of here, see Roranoro Zorro. You can't be jumping up in it all late and wrong. Nigga, just because you didn't hear it don't mean nobody talked about Laura and calling out Spence. We talked about that at the very beginning of the show and got that subject out of the way quick. The first thing we talked about was the card for Landy Lara. Thank you very much. He knocked that boy out in the second round. He wants to fight Errol Spence Jr. He wants to fight Canelo. He ain't getting either one of those fights. So why am I wasting my time talking about that for too long? Landy Lara is at 154 pounds. We got Errol Spence Jr., who has a tough fight coming up against Sean Porter just about a month from now. We will address all fantasy other. He said, my bad, big dog. No worries, Roranoro, but you know how we got to do. Ain't nobody scared of that. Anyway, it is what it is. Also, we had another superstar in the building. Please go pay attention to my man. Subscribe to my man, Mr. Boxing Today 2. Two's videos to his channel. Please subscribe. It's another guy been on YouTube a long time that we hope to get on to OG Boxing Talk. I think you're 40. I think he's 40 years old, but he's mean. You can't trust Mr. Boxing Today. He dunks on his own son. That dude ain't got no heart, boy. You got videos up in here, dude. That 40-year-old man dunking on his teenage son. What's wrong with you, man? How come you gonna dunk on that boy like that, man? He trying to show off that he's still virile. That's my dude, Mr. Boxing Today too. Anyway, it is what it is. Much love to everybody in the super chat. Everybody that came through the chat. We're gonna catch you next week on OG Boxing Talk. Make sure you check KCUKC out every morning. Check my man Blood. He be dropping videos through the week. And we'll see y'all next week. And with that, I'm out. Peace.
Peace.